Yu-Gi-Oh! From Overlord to Ruler of the Dimension. Chapter 103. The Forest Outside the College. Downstairs of the staff dormitory. Misawa Daichi walked out of the forest, looking up at this old-looking staff dormitory. Is this where Ecclesia lives? A blood-red light appeared in his eyes. Misawa Daichi murmured in a low voice while hugging his arms. In the classroom in the morning, the 7 stars Ryujin who possessed Misawa Daichi's body had thought about taking Ecclesia away in front of the students. However, Ryujin was more or less afraid of Yuujoujude who was beside Ecclesia. From Aluber, Ryujin also heard some things about Yuujoujude. For example, in Lonji country, he fought against the entire church with his own strength. He defeated the Dragon of Fallen, Albus. He also kidnapped the Saint Ecclesia. Moreover, this person seemed to be able to manipulate the power of the card elves at will. This made Ryujin a little afraid. He was originally an extremely cautious person. Otherwise, he would not have hidden in the Great Spirit Peak for so many years. He was not completely sure that he could win Yuujoujude in a confrontation of strength. Therefore, he gave up the idea of taking Ecclesia away directly and began to investigate some flaws in Yuujoujude's duel. You know, the gap in power may not be made up. But a duel can narrow the gap in power between the two sides to the greatest extent. This is why, in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even at the end, both sides have the power to destroy the world, but they still choose to play cards. And the person possessed by Ryujin is none other than Misawa Daichi, who is known as a brain-type duelist. Misawa Daichi has begun researching Yuujoujude's duel a long time ago, and has discovered many flaws in it. While reading Misawa Daichi's memory, Ryujin also learned about Yuujoujude's deck analysis and various coping strategies. The essence of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to take advantage of the information gap. As long as you can catch the flaws of your opponent's deck one step ahead of your opponent, you will have a greater chance of winning in the battle. Sand. At this moment, a sound of footsteps came from behind Misawa Daichi. Oh my, sorry to have kept you waiting, Misawa-san. No, I should say, sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Ryujin. Yuujoujude walked out of the forest behind him. He looked at the Misawa land in front of him with a smile. Behind Jude, Ecclesia also had a delicate look of anger on her face, clenching her fists and making a fighting stance. Oh? You know my identity. Misawa Daichi turned to look at Yuujoujude. Long Yuan was a little surprised that Yuujoujude could see through his identity so quickly. You know, he had never seen Yuujoujude before. Not to mention that Yuujoujude couldn't have seen him, even Ecclesia couldn't possibly know the existence of such a person. How did Yuujoujude know his information? According to legend, in the Abyss Dimension, on the south side of the Great Sand Sea, there is a legendary great spiritual peak that is shrouded in mist all year round and is home to the magical power of ice and water. Ice water can materialize the good and evil forces in one's heart in the form of a sword. The fantasy dragon clan that guards the ice water is a race that uses the illusion of their inner self to transform into a sword to fight, and is also called a sword master. Yuujoujude glanced at Long Yuan and told the story about the great spiritual peak. Long Yuan's expression obviously changed. Ecclesia, who was standing by, also looked at Yuujoujude with curiosity. Even she, who was born and raised in the Abyss Dimension, didn't know about the sword and ice water. Why did Yuujoujude, a visitor from another dimension, know all this? Unlike the peaceful inner world of most sword masters, Mr. Long Yuan's inner world is too overbearing. Your pursuit and desire for power will never be allowed to stay on the great spiritual peak. So, in order to hide your inner self, Mr. Long Yuan, you split yourself into 2 swords to hide your inner desire for power. Right. Yuujoujude had a faint smile on his face. You, compared to Jude's calmness, Long Yuan began to sweat profusely. Aluber saw through the dark side of your heart that longed for power and hegemony. You also fell into the illusion of vanity that Aluber had woven for you, and chose to betray Daling Feng and become Aluber's running dog. Being able to come here means that Alub's plan has succeeded, right? Every word of Yuujoujude shocked Long Yuan. Yuujoujude could tell these extremely private things without any mistakes like telling a story. What on earth was going on? Could it be that this person had the ability to predict the future? Who are you? Long Yuan's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and his heart was filled with fear. He is just an ordinary duelist. Seeing that Long Yuan's mentality had been initially broken by him, Yuujoujude immediately took advantage of the situation and raised the dual disc on his arm. Come on, let's fight it out. Just use the dual monster method. What? What? Long Yuan panicked and subconsciously raised his arm. The black sword formed by the inner image covered Misawa Daiichi's arm, forming a black dual disc. In an instant, Yajiu and Misawa, who was possessed by Long Yuan, were instantly shrouded in darkness. The duel between the two officially began at this moment. Duel. Yuchen 10th Generation, LP4000. Misawa Daiichi, Ryan LP4000. Damn. This body of mine actually subconsciously started a duel. Seeing that he was passively pulled into the duel, Ryan's forehead immediately broke into a cold sweat. One of the courses for duelists in the Duel Academy is to have a dual consciousness at any time. Subconsciously raising the dual disc to fight is an operation that has been engraved into the DNA of the students of the Duel Academy. Therefore, even if he lost his consciousness due to Ryan's possession, Misawa can subconsciously put his body into a dual state and start a duel. This is actually a disadvantageous thing for Ryan. Because from the conversation just now, Ryan has already felt that something is wrong with Yuki-Jide. This guy knows too much about himself and Daling Feng. It is obviously disadvantageous to confront this guy head-on. However, now the dark duel has begun. Even if he wants to escape, I am afraid he can't escape. Drawing 5 cards from the deck, Ryan scanned the cards in his hand and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Fortunately, my hand cards are pretty good. If I want to fight, it seems that I can do it. I'll take the first strike. According to the duel rules of your era, I can draw an extra card from the deck. Long Yuan said, and drew a card from the deck. Dark duel is not restricted by Kaiba's duel system, so even Synchro, XYZ, Pendulum and Link summoning, which are not possible in this era, can be used in the dark stand. Yuki-Jide glanced at the extra monster area that appeared on his dual disc. You are indeed different from other duelists of this era. Long Yuan gritted his teeth, and once again deepened his fear of Yuki-Jide. Duelists of this era, like the one he possessed, Misawa Daiichi, only knew 2 types of summoning methods, ritual summoning and fusion summoning. As for the other summoning methods, such as Synchro, Ectoplasm, Pendulum and Link, Misawa Daiichi had no information at all. But Yuki-Jide was different. He seemed to be quite clear about these summoning methods. However, my deck has the advantage of information gap. I already know Yajiu's deck very well. Long Yuan immediately drew a card from his hand and stuck it on the dual disc. Activate a quick attack magic card. Graveyard Seal. You can only activate this effect by discarding a card from your hand. This turn, the effects of cards activated in the graveyard are negated. Graveyard Seal? Yajiu raised his eyebrows. Did he assume that his deck was the Pearl Tier Lament tribe? The card I discarded is Tianwei Dragon, Pure Panlong. Long Yuan selects a card from his hand and sends it to the graveyard. Tianwei, is this a card that uses the power of Albert to transform? Yajiu could feel that the Tianwei Dragon Pure Panlong discarded by Long Yuan did not contain the soul of the dual monster. As a fantasy dragon deck, although Tianwei has no direct connection with Xiangjian in the card story, there is a very outstanding linkage between the 2 decks. In addition, both are decks based on Chinese elements. Therefore, Xiangjian and Tianwei are also known as Chinese Sword and Chinese Dragon. In addition, the operation is simple and the adaptability is high. Tianwei Xiangjian had a very high appearance rate and popularity for a period of time. However, the Xiangjian deck has a very obvious disadvantage. Then, activate the magic card, Pot of Greed. According to the effect, draw 2 cards from the deck. Looking at Long Yuan drawing 2 cards, Yajiu couldn't help smacking his lips. Good man, banned cards are indeed a must-try for the GX generation. Why does everyone who comes here have to use 2 banned cards first? Summon, Sword Master, Moi. After replenishing his hand to 5 cards, Long Yuan finally began to deploy his cards. The power of ice water was dancing on the field. The phantom dragon girl, with a black and white mask on her face, holding a dark purple sword, emerged in the liquid vortex formed by the ice water. But it was obvious that Moi did not seem to have her own consciousness. After appearing on the stage, she immediately fell beside Long Yuan like a puppet. Sword Master Moi. Star rating, 4. Magic Dragon. Attack power, 1700, defense power, 1800. Is it the power of Alab? Looking at the motionless Moi, Yujiu seemed to understand something. According to the effect of Sword Master, Moi, if this card is successfully summoned or special summoned, you can activate it by showing a Sword Master card or a Phantom Dragon monster in your hand to your opponent. On your own field, special summon a sword token 933. Long Yuan displayed the sword strategist, Long Yuan in his hand. The next moment, Moxia on the field immediately split into two, and a water clone carrying the power of ice and water appeared beside him. Sword derivatives. Star rating, 4. Magic Dragon / adjustment. Attack power, 0, defense power, 0. Can a single monster gather all the materials needed for a synchro summon? Ecclesia, who was watching the battle, was slightly surprised. That's right, this is the uniqueness of the Xiangjian deck. Long Yuan raised his lips slightly and sneered. The Xiangjian deck is a powerful existence that uses the generation of derivatives with adjustment capabilities to synchronize single cards. Just like the sword that represents the inner state, this derivative is a product generated by our inner state. Long Yuan shouted. Next, the true power of the Sword of Legend deck. I will adjust the level 4 tuning monster sword token and the level 4 sword master Moi. Long Yuan raised his right hand, and a strong force burst out from his body instantly. Synchro summon. Bang! However, just when Long Yuan was about to perform the synchro summon, the Xiangjian derivative beside Moi suddenly shattered. Under the different gazes of Long Yuan and Ecclesia, it instantly turned into fragments and disappeared. Hey! At this moment, Long Yuan was stunned. His Xiangjian derivative exploded? How is this possible? This has never happened before. Long Yuan was dumbfounded. Isn't this right? This is a little different from what he thought before. You don't seem to have noticed the extra stuff on my field. Yezhou crossed his arms and watched the show. Seeing that Long Yuan hadn't looked over, he couldn't help but remind him. What? Long Yuan looked up hastily. He saw a goblin with a basket on his back and a net bag on his back running happily on the field of Yezhou, constantly collecting the fragments of the broken derivatives. After a while, all the broken derivatives on the field were collected by the goblin and crashed into the basket. Token collector. Star rating, 4. Demons. Attack power, 0, defense power, 2000. Hey! Seeing the goblin on the field of Yezhou, Long Yuan showed a dull expression on his face. What is that thing? Chapter 104. The Sword of the Soul deck. This deck uses the effects of the main monsters to summon the derivatives with the tuning attribute, thus performing a one-card sync. However, this deck has a very fatal flaw. That is, it is overly dependent on the tuning derivatives specially summoned by the monster body. Once the main derivatives are restricted, the Sword of the Soul deck will face an embarrassing situation. This card can only be activated when a token is special summoned on the field. Token Collector can be special summoned from the hand or the graveyard. Activate when Token Collector is special summoned successfully. All the derivatives on the field are destroyed. And the attack power of Derivative Collector increases by the number of destroyed derivatives x 400 points. Token Collector. Attack power, 0400. Looking at Long Yuan, whose expression had already frozen, Yezhou raised his lips slightly. And as long as Token Collector is in the monster zone, neither party can special summon tokens. Long Yuan was stunned. Unable to special summon tokens. Doesn't that mean that this card is specifically used to target the sword deck? Don't think you are the only one targeting my deck. I am also a duelist who likes to target my opponent's deck. Yezhou said with a smile. Stop showing off your power here. Long Yuan's face darkened. It just sealed the sword axe in my deck. There are things in my deck that are beyond your imagination. I activated the effect of Sword Advisor Long Yuan in my hand. Long Yuan was obviously a little anxious. He couldn't use the derivatives, which meant he had to find another way to break the situation. But because it was the first round, Long Yuan couldn't use the battle to get rid of the annoying goblin. He had to find a way to survive until the next Long Yuan's turn. I send the Tianwei Dragon, Datong Penlong in my hand to the graveyard, and special summon Xiangjian Military Advisor, Longjai Yuan. Long Yuan waved his hand. A golden whirlwind gathered on the field. Misawa Daiichi's body shook a few times and fell to the ground with a plop. Long Yuan, who was attached to Misawa, also got rid of Misawa's body at this moment and appeared on the field in his original form. The black phantom dragon holding a golden long sword emerged from the golden whirlwind. Long Yuan, wearing a black robe, officially appeared in the duel. Sword Advisor Long Yuan. Stars, 6. Magic Dragon. Attack power, 1200, defense power, 2300. Tisk, since there is no way to summon a derivative, there is no need to activate the subsequent effect. But this is enough. Long Yuan scanned the remaining 2 cards in his hand. I will exclude 3 monsters with different attributes, the water attribute Swordsman, Moi on the field, the earth attribute Tianwei Dragon, Pure Panlong in the graveyard, and the dark attribute Tianwei Dragon, Datuang Panlong. From your hand, special summon Big Star Yi Initial Dragon. He raised the card in his hand high. The Big Star Yi Initial Dragon in Long Yuan's hand immediately flashed 3 dazzling colors. Zing ai. Seeing the card in Long Yuan's hand, Yuchen Jude raised his eyebrows slightly. The 3 colors of blue, brown, and black, representing water, earth and darkness, have already gathered on Long Yuan's field. The next moment, with the sound of thunder, a 4-clawed dragon with white, blue, orange, brown, and other colors, soared into the air from the card. They. Great Zing ai Initial Dragon hovered in this dark field, bursts of dragon roars burst out from its mouth. Daxinji Initial Dragon. Stars, 1-1. Magic Dragon / Special Summon. Attack power, 2500, defense power, 3000. Looking at the big Zing ai on the Long Yuan field, Yuchen Jude raised the corner of his mouth. The monsters in the Zing ai field are not very compatible with Xiangjian. But as the only phantom dragon in the Zing ai field, the Great Star Yi Initial Dragon is surprisingly well matched with Xiangjian. Through Dragon Xiangjian appears, Xiangjian can even directly retrieve this Great Star Yi Initial Dragon from the deck. Yajojude, this guy has thoroughly studied your deck. Pointing to the fallen Misawa Daichi behind him, Long Yuan sneered. Each of your card decks has almost the same characteristic, or you could say a shortcoming. Oh. Yajojude raised his eyebrows. That is, the key cards in all your decks are almost all dark attribute monsters. Long Yuan waved his arm and revealed the key to Yugi Jude's deck. Just as Long Yuan said. Jude's deck, Hero, Yubel, Pearl Tier Elegy, Brand, Exodia. Most of the key monsters in the deck are almost all dark attributes. Not only Jude's current deck. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, the attributes of powerful decks and terminals are almost inseparable from light and dark. A considerable number of powerful decks, the main theme of the deck is almost light and dark attributes. Is that so? So what? Yajojude raised his eyebrows and looked at Long Yuan with a smile. This means that once the dark attribute is sealed, then Yajo Tende, all your decks will be completely blocked. Long Yuan waved his hand, and the Great Star Yi Initial Dragon beside him immediately flashed with colorful light. The effect of Daxinji Initial Dragon is activated. Once per turn, you can activate this effect by declaring one attribute of a monster on the field. All monsters of this attribute on the field are destroyed, and until the end of the next round, neither side can special summon a monster of the declared attribute. Long Yuan opened his hand, and 3 balls of different colors appeared in his palm. Nowadays, the attributes that exist are Earth Attribute Derivative Collector, Fire Attribute Sword Advisor Long Yuan, and Dark Attribute Daxinji Initial Dragon. Long Yuan narrowed his eyes and looked at Yajojude, as if he wanted to know what kind of expression Yajojude would show when facing his targeting. However, to Long Yuan's disappointment, Yajojude still had a calm face. His indifferent face made it impossible to tell what his expression was at the moment. Humph, are you still holding on? Long Yuan gritted his teeth and said, guess what attribute I will choose later. I don't care what attribute you choose, but I suggest you choose the Earth attribute. Yu Chengjude raised his eyebrows. If you destroy the token collector on my field, you can special summon a token monster. Maybe you can still struggle a little bit. Tisk, Yuki Jude, do you really think I will listen to you, Long? Yuan's face darkened. You asked me to destroy the attributes of the Earth, so I destroyed the attributes of the Earth? Don't be ridiculous. Next, it's your death. Long Yuan waved his hand, I choose to destroy the dark attribute monster. And until the end of the next round, neither side can special summon a dark attribute monster. As soon as the voice fell, the Big Star Yi Initial Dragon on the field immediately burst into a violent roar. Moreover, the Zing ai Initial Dragon will not be destroyed by the effect. Therefore, the effect of the Great Star Yi Initial Dragon will not destroy the Great Star Yi Initial Dragon itself. Long Yuan immediately covered the last card in his hand. Face a card and the turn ends. At this moment, the effect of Graveyard Seal is lifted. Of course, even if you activate the effect to stack the graveyard now, you can't special summon dark attribute monsters because of the effect of Dexenji Initial Dragon. Ha 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 ha. Long Yuan laughed loudly. It's a sure win. I will definitely win this duel. Looking at Long Yuan's smug look, Yuezhou Jade shook his head helplessly. The Tianwei Xiangji on deck will carry a big Star Yi Initial Dragon, which is basically a normal operation. Plus, Misawa, who is possessed by you, is a top-notch student in the academy. He is the best duelist who is good at analyzing other people's decks and using his brain to defeat his opponents. So I knew very well that the decks I used before were likely, no, they will definitely be targeted. In addition to blocking the graveyard and banishing monsters, there is another method, which is to block special moves. Yu Chengzhide opened his thin lips and pulled out a card from the deck. The Sword of the Gods deck itself is also very dependent on the graveyard. If the main deck also eats the alien-type cards, it is basically heading for mutual destruction. Dark Duel is not an ordinary duel game after all. The best solution is to win the opponent as steadily as possible. Plus, you are known as the military strategist of the sword, and you are also famous for being cautious. Therefore, I guess you are unlikely to add cards like Dimensional Attractor to your deck in order to self-destruct. Then, the only way for Tianwei Xiangjian to restrain me is to use Dexenji Initial Dragon to block the attribute special move and interfere with my deck. The more Jade spoke, the more the expression on Long Yuan's face changed from calm to dull and unbelievable. Looking at Yuki Jade in front of him, Long Yuan's forehead was actually sweating. Did I get it right? Looking at Long Yuan's sweaty face, Yuezhou Jade said calmly, but this also means that I am better at collecting intelligence. Because I know very well that your deck is quite simple, with only one possible card, Heavenly Sword. But me. But there is not only one set of cards, or a few sets of cards that can be used. The reason why I don't use my other decks in front of everyone in the academy is. This is because the summoning method of these decks cannot be recognized by Kaiba's system. But in the Dark Duel environment, it's different. Yuezhou's mouth curled up with a cruel sneer. I'm not the only one who's good at fusion summoning. Before returning to Tomino City, I also traveled around the world. In the countless dark duels with dark duelists, I have been tempered. I can now flexibly use various summoning methods in the dark duel. Yuchen Jade showed the card in his hand. In the darkness, Jade's eyes flashed with golden and green light. Activate the magic card in your hand, Quick Attack Magic. Whirlwind. Yuezhou Jade said coldly, destroy the cover card on your field. What? Long Yuan's face changed, and the card on the field was broken. Sword of the Sword. This is a trap card that targets a magic dragon monster on your field and 2 cards on your opponent's field, destroying those cards. Damn it! He actually activated the card that clears the backfield right away. Damn, how cautious should this guy be in a duel? Seeing that the threat of Sword of the Sword has been eliminated, Yuki Jade immediately began his own deployment. The effect of Cut Machine Enter is activated. You can activate this by sending a cutter monster other than Cutter Yuan from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. Buzz. The shining electronic light flashed on the Jade field. The silver-white Cyber Knight, waving the battle blade in his hand, appeared in front of Jade. Cutting Machine Yuan. Star rating, 4. Electronic Community. Attack power, 1500, Defense power, 1500. Cutting Machine. Light attribute. Seeing the monster appearing on the field, Long Yuan was horrified. The card I sent to the graveyard through the effect of Enmu is Cutter, Sigma. This card can be activated if it exists in your hand, graveyard, and extra monster zone, and if you have no monsters. Special summon this card. Boom. Sigma, wearing a red mecha and holding a slasher, landed beside Yuan. Cutting Machine Sigma. Star rating, 4. Electronic Community / Adjustment. Attack power, 1000, Defense power, 1500. No, not good. Another light monster. Long Yuan's face darkened, and he finally realized that his misjudgment of Yuezhou Tende's deck had put him in a situation where he could not turn back. The second effect of Cut Machine, Yuan is activated. This card exists in the monster zone and can only be activated when you summon or special summon a cutter monster on your field. From the deck, add a cutter spell / trap card to your hand. Yu Zhao opened his hand and caught a card that popped out of the deck. Equip a spell card. Cutter, Nehuta. The corners of his mouth raised in an arc. Yu knew. The game is over. Then. I will use the level 4 tuner monster Cutter Sigma, the level 4 Cutter Yumu, and the level 4 Derivative Collector to tune the stars. Derivative Collector, me? Sigma and Yumu each grabbed one of the goblin's arms. The three of them jumped up and instantly turned into several stars and surged into the sky. Good Zhao, Synchro Summon. Level 12. Flame Slasher, Sigma Last. Boom. The blazing flames instantly burst out from the card. Sigma, holding the flame blade, gradually emerged from the raging flames and slowly landed in the extra monster zone on the left side of the 10th generation. Flame Slasher, Sigma Last. Stars, 1-2. Electronics / Coherence. Attack Power, 3000, Defense Power, 0. Flame Slasher, 12-star monsters. Seeing the monster appearing on Yezhou field, Long Yuan's mouth twitched and he subconsciously took a step back. Flame Slasher, last Sigma in the extra monster zone is not affected by the effects of cards other than Slasher. Furthermore, this card in the extra monster zone will double the battle damage inflicted on the opponent's monster when it fights with the opponent's monster. Yezhou said, sticking the equipment magic card in his hand on the dual plate. Activate the equipped magic card, Cutter, Nehuta. Fighting. Yezhou immediately entered the battle. Flame Slasher, Final Sigma, Attack Daxinji Initial Dragon. At this moment, the effect of Zhangji Dao, Nehuta is activated. Yezhou Jude took out Zhangji Dao, Yobu from the deck. Activate by sending a cutter monster from your deck to the graveyard. The equipped monster's ATK increases by the amount of the monster sent to the graveyard until the end of the turn. Furthermore, the Zhangji, Chengwu sent to the graveyard can double the attack power of one of your Cyber Series monsters in the extra monster zone. Yuki Jude finished speaking. The body of Sigma the Last immediately burned with flames. Flame Slasher, Sigma Last. Attack Power, 3000 3500 7000. This also means. In this battle, you will be. Yezhou Jude paused for a moment, then sneered. 9000 points battle dam. Chapter 105. Boom. The flame wave instantly engulfed the big star Yi initial dragon on Long Yuan's field. Long Yuan's eyes widened, and his body gradually began to disintegrate under the raging flames. No, impossible. This force. Long Yuan looked at his broken body, his eyes flashing with disbelief. He couldn't understand it no matter how hard he tried. He was blessed with the two special powers of heavenly power and star righteousness. He couldn't even last one round of Yuki Jude. The power of the abyss that Lord Alab gave him, but he didn't even have the chance to use it. How can this be? Wait a minute. Tell me, what happened to Sister Flordelis? Seeing the dragon abyss about to break, Ecclesia was anxious and hurriedly asked the question she wanted to know most. Flordelis. Haha. Feeling that his life was about to end, Long Yuan showed a final twisted smile on his face. Immediately. Her spirit will be used by Lord Albert. Summon. Beyond the gods, daytime. Ha. Long Yuan's body shattered in laughter. The cards on the dual disc on his arm also scattered to the ground. Misawa Land, RYYLP 40000. Yezhou Tende, win. Congratulations to the host for defeating the card elf Xiangjian military advisor Long Yuan. Xiangjian card group, Xing'ai card group, 753 Tianwei card group, have been sent to the host collection card book. Having absorbed the power of Long Yuan's sword, the host can condense the inner image into a sword. Yuchen Jude closed his eyes and listened to the voice of the system in his ears. As he absorbed the power of Long Yuan, Yuchen Jude opened his hand, and a black aura began to condense rapidly in his palm. A long sword as black as obsidian condensed in Jude's palm. The sword filled with the aura of a hegemon seemed to be the product of the condensation of the image of the hegemon deep in Jude's heart. Is this the sword formed by the image in my heart? It feels a little different from what I imagined. Looking at the red patterns on the sword, Yezhou Jude tried to swing it twice, and then turned it back into pure darkness and merged it into his body. Although it may not be very useful when playing cards, there will always be people who do not play by the rules. At that time, this dark sword may come in handy. After sorting out the newly acquired power and card deck, Yuezhou Jade also turned his eyes to Ecclesia on the side. Ecclesia was squatting on the ground, burying her head in her arms, making it difficult to see her expression. However, the impact of Long Yuan's words just now on Ecclesia can be imagined. Fleur-de-Lis, who has been taking care of Ecclesia since she was very young, is like a sister. In Ecclesia's heart, she is the closest relative, and no one can replace her. But now, Beth, Ecclesia's most important relative is suffering. This is an unbearable pain for Ecclesia. Don't worry, I'm here. Just when Ecclesia's heart was about to collapse, a warm hand suddenly pressed on Ecclesia's shoulder. Ecclesia was slightly startled. She raised her head, and her tearful eyes reflected the indifferent profile of Yuki Jade. Although it was just a simple sentence, at this moment, it was like a ray of light shining into the darkness. It instantly lit up Ecclesia's heart. Jade. Ecclesia threw herself into Jade's arms and burst into tears. In the living room of the staff dormitory, looking at Ecclesia sleeping on her legs with tears in her eyes, Yuezhou Jade was already prepared for the next step. It was urgent to go to the Abyss Dimension and solve the problems in the Abyss Dimension. Under the manipulation of Alab and the Archbishop, the brand was bound to sweep across the entire Abyss Dimension. If all this could not be resolved as soon as possible, judging from the previous situation, it would only be a matter of time before Alab swept from the elf world to the world. Master Jade, the one lying at the door has been sent to the health room and seems to be fine. At this time, the water fairy pushed open the door of the living room and stuck her head out to look at Yuki Jade. Okay, I understand. Jade raised his eyelids. It seems that he noticed what Jade was thinking. The water fairy came over and looked at Jade's expression. Lord Jade, are you preparing to go to the Abyss Dimension? Well, I have to deal with some things. Yachin. Jade did not deny it. Then, can I also follow Master Jade? After hearing this, the water fairy immediately asked impatiently. Yes, it is possible, but the environment there. Most of the plot of Abyss Dimension is still centered around the Great Sand Sea outside Longji country. Can a marine creature like the water fairy really have no problem with the hot weather of the Great Sand Sea? Don't worry, Master 10th Generation, as long as we have pearl crystals, we can live as easily as we do under the sea in any environment. The water fairy put her hands on her hips and proudly showed off the pearl necklace on her neck. That's really magical. Yuezhou Jade twitched his lips. But it was good this way. If the water fairy was here, she could provide some help in terms of combat power. Of course, it might not be much help. But it was better than nothing. And he couldn't put all his experience on Ecclesia. With a water fairy who was also a girl, it would be easier for them to take care of each other. Seeing Yuezhou Jade agreed, the water fairy immediately cheered happily. Hehe, when traveling, there will always be time for two people to be alone together. By then, as long as the mood is right, everything will come naturally, he. The water nymph covered her face and began to shyly imagine what was going to happen next. Ignoring the water fairy's fantasy, Yuezhou Jade took out the college communicator and asked Principal Samejima for a few days off. Although he had the privilege of being here at Kaiba, he still had to explain it to Akrishna. Fortunately, Principal Samejima was reasonable and quickly approved Yuezhou Jade's vacation. Very good. Turn off the communicator. Yuezhou Jade's eyes gradually became serious. It's time to have some fun with you. Audiobook. Abyss Dimension. Longji country. Today's Longji country has fallen into a dense blood-red mark. The originally peaceful streets are covered with scarlet like moss. The pedestrians on the street are now distorted by the marks. Their bodies are broken into pieces, and under the effect of the marks, they are connected to some weapons such as iron rings and spikes. From the outside, there is no trace of any human being. Tragedy of Death Prison. Comedy, Death Prison Village Actor. The location where the Holy See Temple was originally located has now been replaced by a towering black castle. Above the castle, a dark purple abyss crack hangs in the sky, emitting a strange light. A red-haired boy wearing a blood-red windbreaker and a golden mask stood on the top of this desperate drama city. Blood-red lightning flashed behind him. The boy looked at his masterpiece in front of him with satisfaction, and a smile of excitement appeared at the corner of his mouth under the mask. Beside him, a girl wearing a white saint robe, holding a scepter, and with skin as white as a dead person slowly fell from the sky. Your first toy is dead. The girl said this in a voice without any emotion. The red-haired boy's pupils shrank when he heard the girl's words. He opened his hands and found that under his corruption, Long Yuan, who was about to become an abyss creature, had completely disappeared from the dimension. The mark representing Long Yuan's life had also been completely broken. Ha! Ha 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 ha! The red-haired boy covered his face and laughed crazily with his head tilted back. Yuzhou Chide, Yuzhou Tende. Is this guy who possesses the soul of the Overlord that fuses dimensional power replacing Albus, who was supposed to play the leading role? Interesting. It's very interesting. Actors of this level are much more interesting than that loser Albus, ha 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 ha. The laughter gradually died down. The red-haired boy looked at the great sand sea in the distance, with blood-red light surging in his pupils. The stage is set for despair. The actors are ready. Let's get started. This desperate story leads to a tragic fate. Chapter 106. Abyss Dimension. Great Sand Sea, Golden Gorgonda. On the endless golden sand sea. With the formation of the dimensional crack, Chide, Ecclesia, and Naiad finally landed on the land of the Abyss Dimension again. As soon as he walked out of the dimensional crack, Chide felt a disturbing breath hovering above the blue sky. In the sky, purple abyss cracks flashed from time to time. The abyss cracks, like a pair of eyes, stared at everything on the great sand sea from the sky. Is that the direction where Long Yi Kingdom is located? The water fairy looked at the endless sea of sand. In the north of the sea of sand, there was a sky covered in blood. Although the water fairy did not come to the abyss dimension, from the oral accounts of Jade and Ecclesia, she could more or less guess what happened in this world. The ominous blood seemed to be foreshadowing the fall of Long Yi Kingdom at this moment. Ecclesia also looked into the distance. Yes, that was the direction of Long Yu Guo. And the blood-red color covering the sky was the ominous mark of He. I can't feel it anymore, the holy breath of the Vatican. Gently touching the stigma on her forehead, Ecclesia's face was filled with pessimism. Sister Flordelis. Feeling sad. Ecclesia suddenly felt a weight on her shoulders. She looked up and saw the gaze of Yuki Jade. Don't worry, if the church wants to lead us to Longji Kingdom, they will never take action against Flordelis. Yuchen Jade knew that the ultimate goal of the church was to collect the souls of 666 pure and desperate saints, including Ecclesia and Flordelis. The archbishop wanted to use the souls of these 666 saints to open the door of disaster and transform himself into a being beyond the gods. If the archbishop wanted Ecclesia's soul to achieve his ultimate goal, he would definitely not absorb Flordelis' soul in advance, but use Flordelis as bait to lure them to rescue her. 10 generations, with the comfort of the 10th generation, Ecclesia gradually let go of the grief in her heart. She knew that as long as Sister Flordelis was still alive, everything could still be saved. Then, let's quickly set off for Long Yi Kingdom. The water fairy couldn't wait to start talking, shaking her body while posing a boxing posture and punching straight. Kill that so-called archbishop and let him know how powerful the 10th generation is. Yuchen 10th generation. Well, it is indeed a good decision to go straight to Huanglong. Yuchen Jade knew that in order to solve all this, he just needed to kill the man behind the scenes, Aluber. However, why didn't the system teleport them directly to Longji Kingdom, but teleport them to the Great Sand Sea? Jade and his friends didn't notice it. In the gravel pile in the distance, several iron robots were lying in the gravel pile, secretly watching these visitors from another world. Their mechanical eyes were scanning Jade, Ecclesia, and the water nymph. Finally, they all locked onto the holy mark on Ecclesia's forehead. Are they enemies from that prison town? However, they feel a little different from those guys in the death prison village. They seem to still maintain their human form. Well, why bother about so much? No matter who enters the Great Sand Sea, we will warmly welcome them. It seemed that they had reached some consensus. The robots looked at each other, and a wicked smile appeared on their faces. Just as the 3 of the 10th generation were preparing to leave for Longji country, a burst of firecrackers suddenly sounded in the Great Sand Sea. The 10th generation and others looked up and saw all kinds of colorful and various rockets coming towards them from the sky. The dense number of them immediately frightened the 2 girls, Ecclesia and Naiad, so much that they hugged each other tightly and screamed loudly. Yubel. Yuchen Jade waved his hand. Yubel's transparent soul immediately appeared behind him. Humph! Looking at the colorful rockets that were coming like rain, Yubel's eyes darkened slightly, and he immediately opened his hands to condense a black protective shield in front of the 3 people. The rockets were changed in their trajectory the moment they touched the protective shield, and turned back again, reflecting back in the original direction. Woo-oh-oh-ay-ay-ay-ay-ay-ay. Amid the explosions like firecrackers, the robots in the distance were blown away by the blast and fell to the ground screaming. Fortunately, the rockets they fired were harmless and only had the impact of intimidation. So the force of the rebound could only blow them away at most. That is, are they robots from the Iron Country? Seeing the robots lying on the bumpy ground with their eyes spinning around, Ecclesia blinked and seemed to recognize their identities. They were the treasure-guarding cannon monsters. Yajojude also recognized the identities of these guys. Treasure Guardian Cannon Monster, a treasure hunter active in the Great Sand Sea. It is also a very important branch in the story of the Abyss Dimension. No wonder the system teleported me here, is it because of this? But, damn, what kind of magic is this? Can it even deflect rockets? It's over, it's over. I'm going to fail here today. Save, help. Damn monsters from the Death Prison Village, even if you kill us, we will never. I will tell you where the treasure is. Several treasure-guarding cannon monsters twisted their heads on the ground, screaming like victims. I said, it seems like you were the first to take action. Yajojude was speechless. You were the ones who attacked first, and I just bounced your attack back. Why are you acting like we were the first to attack? Are you throwing a tantrum here? Death prison? What is the death prison you are talking about? Ecclesia looked at these treasure-guarding cannon monsters with some curiosity. As a native of the Abyss Dimension, how come she has never heard of such a place as Death Prison? Hey? Aren't you from there? At this time, one of the cocky robots with a rocket warhead pointed at Ecclesia's forehead and said, look at your forehead, there are still traces of the brand there. Ecclesia covered the stigma on her head, and seemed to have an ominous guess about the death prison they were talking about. Could it be that the death prison is Long Yuguo? Long Yuguo? This name sounds a bit old-fashioned. Yes, Long Yuguo disappeared from this world a month ago. Now Long Yuguo is called the Death Prison Township. Because it is full of monsters corrupted by the brand, it is called the Death Prison. After hearing the answers from the treasure guards, Ecclesia's expression froze. Her own country. Her familiar home. Has it been completely corrupted by the brand? Seeing Ecclesia almost crying, several treasure guards looked at each other. One of them, a sturdy grey-blue treasure guard, seemed to have thought of something. Speaking of which, some time ago, I heard from those guys on the Iron Beast front that a saint had escaped from Long Yuguo. That person, could it be you? After it said this, the other treasure guards began to look at Ecclesia again. Now that you mention it, it seems quite similar. In that case, they are not monsters from the Death Prison town. If you are not an enemy. Several treasure-guarding artillery monsters gathered together and discussed something in a low voice. At this moment, the originally calm sea of sand suddenly began to tremble slightly. A roar came from a distance. Jude and others hurriedly became serious and looked in the direction of the roar. But they saw a brown-red ship with giant rockets hanging on it, sailing towards here quickly. The ship was speeding on the sand, and the golden sand mist it raised even covered the sky. Treasure Guard Cannon Monster Ship Noisy Explorer. A ship sailing in the desert. Looking at the huge ship, the water fairy was completely stunned. This is too contrary to common sense. Where in the world can there be a ship sailing in the desert? Oh! It's the captain. The captain is here. Captain! We are here. Seeing the huge ship heading towards them, the treasure guards waved their arms and shouted happily. The explorer slowly stopped beside the treasure guards. Jude and others looked up. Then I saw a giant robot covered in golden iron sheets, jumping down from the explorer. It stepped heavily on the sand, instantly stirring up a cloud of dust. Captain of the treasure guard, Weijiawu. It seems something has happened here. He slowly stood up from the blowing sand. His strong body, as tall as a hill, immediately gave Ecclesia and the water fairy a strong sense of oppression. What is this? I don't know either. The water nymph and Ecclesia hugged each other, both trembling and screaming. I am the leader of the treasure guard cannon monster group, and also the captain of this noisy explorer. Asukigo pointed to the huge ship behind him and glanced at Yuki Jude, whose expression remained motionless. He seemed to be able to sense the aura of a strong man coming from Yuki Jude. Asukigo clenched his fists and made a hoarse mechanical sound. Boy, were you the one who injured my men just now? I already said you guys were the first to do it, Yuchin. Jide pinched his brows. Captain! Give this guy a lesson. Be careful, Captain, this guy is very powerful. Seeing their boss was about to make a move, the treasure guards immediately hid behind Weijiwu, waving their fists and shouting. Seeing Weijiwu was about to use force, Yuki Jide had no choice but to raise the next generation dual disc on his arm, and the darkness around him began to surge rapidly. Oh! Dual disc! Seeing the thing on Yuki Jide's arm, Wei Suwa was slightly startled, and the corner of his mouth raised an arc. I see, is this a duelist from another world? But even if you are a duelist, you have to take my punch. Bang! Without saying anything, Asukigo threw a punch at Yuki Jide. Yuki Jide had no choice but to fight back. As the power of the sword beasts attached to his right arm, Yuki Jide also clenched his fist and punched Asukigo heavily. Bang! The impact of the two people's fists instantly overturned the surrounding treasure-guarding cannon monsters, as well as Ecclesia and the water nymph. The surrounding sand, with Jide and Asukigo as the center, instantly expanded into a circle visible to the naked eye. Looking at Yuki Jide, who was punching with him but had no change in expression, Asukigo showed a surprised expression on his face. A mere human being could actually fight with him in a contest of strength. This guy is not an ordinary person. Slowly retracting his fist, Asukigo's eyes looking at Jide also changed a little. It seems that I underestimated you a little bit. After moving his arms, Weijiwu slowly spoke. Come on, you're a duelist, right? Then, how about we fight it out as duelists? The board unfolds at this moment and turns into a dual disc. Of course, no problem. Yajo Jide also became interested. He unfolded the next generation dual disc on his arm, took out a deck and inserted it into the dual disc. Things that can be solved by dueling are not a problem at all for Jide. Duel. Yuchin 10th generation, LP8000. Treasure Guard Cannon Monster Captain Osakugo, LP8000. Is that the rule of 8000 LP? Glancing at the 8000 LP displayed on the dual disc, Yuki Jide drew 5 cards from his deck. Then, I will attack first. He scanned the 5 cards in his hand. Yajo Jide's mouth slightly raised, and he took the lead in showing a card in his hand. Activate magic card. Hero arrives. Heroes are coming. Seeing the activated card, Ecclesia and Water Fairy were both surprised. The Jide used a hero deck. On the other side, on the Explorer, a pink-haired cat-eared girl sat in the co-pilot seat, propping up her face and watching the duel on the screen. However, the brown-haired boy, the girl always felt that he looked familiar. Ah! Come to think of it, he seems to be the one who fought against the entire church alone in Lonji country. The girl snapped her fingers and suddenly thought of something. If it was really him. Chapter 107. Hero Deck. One of the old competitive decks. For a long time in the past, it was a very popular deck. However, although it was very popular, the hero deck had many shortcomings, such as long chain, many waste cards, insufficient terminal resistance, and almost all hand traps. This made the strength of the hero limited. But even so, the hero can still rely on the extremely high killing ability of the deck itself, the various miracles brought by the fusion magic card, and the combination of cards such as a drop of taboo to complete some very classic game kills. Moreover, the hero deck is also the favorite deck in the heart of the 10th generation. In the countless dark duels during his travels, this deck brought too many miracles to himself. Magic card. Hero arrives. Activate. Taking the initiative, Jide took the lead in his own deployment. When there are no face-up monsters on the field, pay half of your life points to activate this action, and special summon a 4-star or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. Yajo Jide waved his hand, and a card flashing with golden light immediately flew out of the deck. Come out! Elemental Heroes, Skyman. The hero wearing blue shoulder armor and with wings spinning at high speed flew up from the card and landed on Yuki Jide's field. Yuchin 10th generation, LP80004000. Elemental Heroes Skyman. Star rating, 4. Warrior. Attack power, 1800, defense power, 300. What? Deduct 4000 HP right from the start. Osugo was a little surprised by Jide's operation. He put himself in a 4,000 vs 8,000 situation right from the start. Wasn't this guy's duel too reckless? But it's worth it. Yajojude drew a card from his deck. Elemental Hero, Skyman. When summoned or special summoned successfully, you can choose one of its two effects to activate. Effect 1. Destroy up to the number of spell and trap cards of heroes on your side of the field except Skyman. Effect 2 adds a hero monster from the deck to the hand. In this era where everyone has a single card spinning top, heroes still have two cards spinning tops at the cost of half health. This can be considered a feature, right? The card I added to my hand is Phantom Hero, Solitary Good Man. In addition, the effect of Phantom Hero, Solitary Man is activated. You can activate this effect by discarding a hero monster other than this card from your hand, and special summon Phantom Hero, Solitary Good Man from your hand. Yajojude skillfully deployed his hero deck. I send Elemental Hero, Shadow Mist Lady to the graveyard and special summon the Good Man. The one-eyed hero wearing pink armor appeared on the field of the 10th generation, with a pair of sharp claws sticking heavily to the ground. Phantom Hero the Good Guy. Star Rating, 5. Warrior. Attack Power, 1600, Defense Power, 1800. Furthermore, the effects of the Good Samaritan and the Shadow Mist Lady are activated at this moment. Yajojude arranged the chain first, the effect of the Shadow Mist Lady. It can only be activated when Shadow Mist Girl is sent to the graveyard. Add a hero monster other than Elemental Hero, Shadow Mist Girl from the deck to your hand. Choose a hero from the deck, and Yajojude continued. Then there is the effect of Phantom Hero, Solitary Good Man. This card can only be activated when it is successfully summoned or special summoned. Select a Phantom Hero monster from your deck other than Phantom Hero, Solitary Man, and use it as a continuous trap card, and place it face up in your magic and trap zone. Yajojude said, having already selected a card from his deck. After activating this effect of the Good Samaritan, until the end of the turn, you can only special summon hero monsters from the extra deck. The one I chose to set in the magic trap zone is Phantom Hero, Incremental Man. Yajojude throws down the card he selected from the deck. Then, when Phantom Hero, Increment Man is used as a continuous trap card, during the main phase of both parties, you can release a hero monster on your field and activate it to special summon this card. The Good Man on the field was immediately released by Jude. The next moment, the one-eyed hero wearing purple armor has already appeared in the monster zone. Phantom Hero Incremental Man. Stars, 3. Warrior. Attack Power, 900, Defense Power, 1100. This effect can only be activated when the Incremental Man is special summoned from a magic or trap zone. From your deck, special summon a 4-star or lower Phantom Hero. The one I chose to special summon was Phantom Hero, Bionic Man. Phantom Hero Bionic Man. Star Rating, 4. Warrior. Attack Power, 1000, Defense Power, 1200. It can only be activated when a Bionic Man is summoned or special summoned, and a hero monster is sent from the deck to the graveyard. Yajojude smiled and said, the one I chose to send to the graveyard is Destiny Hero, Demonic Man. Destiny Hero? Wei Suwa was curious. Good fellow. This human has used heroes of 3 fields in a duel so far. Isn't this too much? The second effect of the Bionic Man is activated. Once per turn, remove a hero monster from your graveyard and add a fusion from your deck to your hand. I choose to exclude the loner and select fusion from the deck to add to my hand. Then, I set the Incremental Man and the Bionic Man as the connection mark of Link 2 and perform the connection summon. Yajojude quickly took down the 2 monsters on the dual disc. Link Summon. Link 2 Special Hero, Crossman. A hero with both arms covered in scarlet blood crosses appears in the extra monster area. The cross on the crossman's chest also glows red. Special Hero Crossman. Warrior Clan / Connect. Connection Marker. Attack, 1600 Link 2. Special Hero. Weijiwa was secretly shocked. The hero of the 4th field? When Crossman is Link summoned, you can only activate this effect by targeting a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster. I choose to special summon Destiny Hero, Demonic Man. The demon in the cemetery roared and appeared on the field of Jude. Then, activate the other effect of Crossman. You can activate this by releasing a Destiny Hero monster on your field. A hero monster with a different name from the released monster is added from the deck to the hand. The card I chose to add to my hand is Fate Hero, Denier. Yuki Jide continued, then, set the Special Hero, Crossman and Elemental Hero, Skyman on the field as connection marks. Perform the second link to link summon. Come out. Special Hero, Scepter Pioneer. A hero wearing a blue wizard cape and waving a golden staff appeared in the extra monster area. Unique Hero, Scepter Herald. Warrior Clan / Connect. Connection marker. Attack, 1900 link 2. The effect of the Demonic Man in the graveyard is activated. By banishing this card from the graveyard, you can special summon a second Destiny Hero, Demonic Man from your deck. Then, activate the magic card Fusion. Fuse the Destiny Hero in your hand, the Negator, with the Destiny Hero on the field, the Demonic Man. Yajojude waved his hand, Fusion Summon. Destiny Hero's Destruction Phoenix. Boom. As the pitch-black flames spread rapidly from underground, the Phoenix Man of Destruction, wearing phoenix feathers, was born from the pitch-black flames. Destiny Hero's Destruction Phoenix. Star Rating, 8. Warrior / Fusion. Attack Power, 2500, Defense Power, 2100. Then, because the location of the special summon of the Phoenix of Destruction is the lower connection area of the Scepter Herald, the effect of the Divine Staff Herald is activated, targeting a fusion magic card or change quick play magic card in your graveyard, and that card is placed on your field. Yuki Jide took out the fusion from the graveyard, and then continued then, the effect of Destiny Hero Denier in the graveyard is activated. This card can only be activated if there is a Fate Hero monster in your graveyard or on the field other than a Negator. This card is special summoned. Destiny Hero Negator. Stars, 3. Warrior. Attack Power, 1100, Defense Power, 600. Then, if you negate a human summon or special summon successfully, choose a Destiny Hero monster in your deck, graveyard, or banished state, and place it on the top of your deck. I chose the Destiny Hero, Demonic Man in the banished zone, placed it at the top of the deck, and activated the effect of Destiny Hero, Demonic Man in the graveyard, banishing myself and special summoning Demonic Man again. Magic Man's special move actually looped. Seeing Yuki Jide's operation, Osakugo was shocked. Demonic Man, as a 6-star monster, only has 800 attack points and 600 defense points, which is absolutely unqualified for a dual monster. But this card can be used to special summon other Demonic Man from the deck by banishing itself from the graveyard, thus becoming a high-quality material. Then, I activated the fusion again. Merge the Demon Man on the field with the Elemental Hero, Liquid Man in the hand card. Yuchin Jide raised his mouth slightly. It is a fusion of two heroes with different attributes. Come out. Elemental Hero, Sunrise. A hero in flaming red armor was born from the fusion vortex. A blue cape fluttered in the strong wind generated by the fusion. Elemental Heroes, Sunrise. Star Rating, 7. Warrior / Fusion. Attack Power, 2500, Defense Power, 1200. This can only be activated when Sunrise is successfully special summoned. Add a Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. Then, the effect of Elemental Hero, Liquid Man sent to the graveyard due to fusion is activated, and this card becomes the fusion material of Hero. It can only be activated when it is sent to the graveyard or excluded. Draw 2 cards from the deck, and then choose a card from your hand to discard. Yuchin Jide waved his hand, and 3 cards were added to his hand. Although the hero deck has many shortcomings, but its advantage of being able to mobilize almost the entire deck resources in one deployment is fully demonstrated at this moment. I choose to send the Destiny Hero, Gunner in my hand to the graveyard. Then, activate the magic card. Miracle Fusion. Remove Skyman and Liquidman from the graveyard. Fusion Summon Elemental Hero, Absolute Zero Man. Yuki Jide activated the fusion again. As Skyman and Liquidman overlapped in the fusion vortex, Absolute Zero, wearing a white robe, descended from the sky, stirring up a frost. Elemental Heroes, Absolute Zero. Star Rating, 8. Warrior / Fusion. Attack Power, 2500, Defense 4.8, Reserve Power, 2000. Then, activate the Quick Attack Magic Card Mask Transformation. Target the Destiny Hero, Demon Man on the field, send that monster to the graveyard, and special summon Masked Hero, Dark Claw. Masked Hero's Dark Claw. Stars, 6. Warrior/Fusion. Attack power, 2400, defense power, 1800. At this moment, according to the effect of Sunrise Man, the ATK of monsters on my field increases by 200 points equal to the attribute type of the monster on my field. I have 3 attributes, light, dark, and water. Therefore, the attack power of all monsters on my field increases by 600 points. Elemental Heroes, Sunrise. Attack, 2500 3100. Destiny Heroes Destruction Phoenix. Attack, 2500 3100. Elemental Heroes, Absolute 0. Attack, 2500 3100. Masked Heroes Dark Claw. Attack, 2400 3000. Unique Hero, Scepter Herald. Attack power, 1900 2500. Looking at the 5 heroes standing on the field of Yuki-Jide, the treasure guarding monster, Ecclesia, the water fairy and others who were watching the game all exclaimed in amazement. Even Weijiawu couldn't help but sweat on his forehead. Cover 2 cards. That's it, the round ends. Yuki-Jide threw down 2 cards and ended his turn with a smile. 5 in front and 2 in back. Chapter 108. The strength of the hero deck lies in its strong first-hand suppression, field blasting ability and second-hand OTK ability. And this first-hand suppression power, a large part of it is on the card Destiny Hero Blood Demon D. As a monster with a unilateral skill extraction effect, Blood Demon D is undoubtedly powerful. It's a pity the current Jide does not have Blood Demon D. In addition, his own exclusive decks New Space, Awakening Man and the upgraded version of Flame Wing Man have not yet been unlocked. So the finale can only use Absolute Zero Man to slightly replace it. Well, although the strength is average, the scene of 5 heroes appearing at the same time is still somewhat shocking. Looking at the 5 heroes standing side by side on the field, Yuki-Jide's heart is a little excited. Cool. This is why I have always loved hero decks. A man's favorite deck has several important elements. It's nothing more than mecha, dragon, sister card, and hero. In addition, although the current heroes are not strong enough to win, they have also been strengthened several times and have some combat effectiveness. Moreover, strength is only temporary. Being cool is something permanent. After all, even Yubel can now win big by relying on fake card strengthening. Who knows if K Society will have a brain twitch one day in the future and give us some fake cards in order to make money. The fantasy of hero players before surrendering to mainstream decks.jpg. Summoned 5 monsters in one go. Sure enough, they should not be underestimated. Looking at the 5 heroes in front of him, Wei Suwu also felt a lot of pressure at the moment. This kid doesn't look very old. But the fighting power he burst out at this moment is really embarrassing. 18 But it's not that I don't have a way to win. Wei Suwu's eyes swept through his hand cards. Although the hero deck has a strong suppressive power, it still has quite obvious shortcomings. Then, it's my turn, draw a card. During the preparation phase, I activate the effect of Destiny Hero, Gun Puller in the graveyard. Yuki-Jide waved his arm and said coldly, when the Gun Puller is sent to the graveyard, you can activate it during the preparation phase of the next round. Special summon the gunner from the graveyard. Swish! A hurricane rose up on the field. The gunner in a white suit emerged from the summoning circle. Destiny Hero Gun Puller. Star rating, 4. Warrior. Attack power, 1600, defense power, 800. The gunner special summoned by this effect will be banished if he leaves the field. However, when the gun drawer successfully special summoned a hero using the effect of a hero, it can be activated, and both players draw a card from their decks. Yuki-Jide placed his finger on the dual disc. Each of you draw a card. Asugo frowned slightly. His hand originally had 6 cards, but with the effect of the gunner, it became 7. Isn't this quite advantageous for him? Asugo drew a card from the deck. However, at the moment he drew the card, the Dark Claw on the 10th generation's field suddenly raised his head. At this moment, the effect of Dark Claw is activated. Once per turn, you can activate this effect when your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand outside of the draw phase. Exclude a random card from the opponent's hand. As soon as the words fell, Dark Claw's eyes immediately emitted a red light, instantly shooting through a card in Asugaku's hand. Bang! Magic card. Lightning Strike, excluded. Damn! Seeing that Lightning Strike in his hand was broken, Asugako was secretly shocked. Yuki Jide, this guy's main purpose is not to draw cards, but to use the effect of Dark Claw to disrupt the rhythm of his hand cards. However, how did he know that he had Lightning Strike in his hand? And you were able to choose 1 out of 7, aren't you a little too lucky? In this regard, Yuijo Jide just wanted to say, there is nothing I can do, friends are like that. A lucky friend can really make the opponent show his roar. But, it's just that I'm missing a Lightning Strike. Thanks to your effect of Gunner, I got a pretty good card from the deck. Asugo showed the card in his hand. Activate Field Magic card. Great Sand Sea, Golden Gorgonda. A very crucial card in the Treasure Cannon deck has appeared. Yuijo Jide's mouth curled up slightly. Jide knew very well that the biggest feature of the Treasure Cannon deck was that it could use field magic cards to perform XYZ summon of the extra deck without XYZ materials. Moreover, the lower level monsters in the Treasure Cannon deck all had the ability to become XYZ materials directly from the hand and the graveyard under a Treasure Cannon XYZ monster on the field. This deck alone was quite limited in strength. However, with the combination of the general R4 items and the slasher axe, it could be deployed quite smoothly. The Treasure Cannon itself could use field magic cards to quickly summon Treasure Cannon Joy Maker, thus performing a pseudo 1-card deployment. Using the effect of Treasure Cannon Joy Maker, Treasure Cannon was sent from the deck to the graveyard, and the 2 Treasure Cannon thrown into the graveyard were used to become XYZ materials for the Joy Maker from the graveyard. After that, the Joy Maker was stacked twice to become Giant Jet Champion Osaka, and based on the effect of this card, it retrieved the Quick Attack magic card target found. Treasure Cannon Monster, and by removing the 3 XYZ materials of Osaka, it special summoned 3 4-star Treasure Cannon Monster from the deck, stacked them to become Block Slasher, Counter D'Alembert, thus turning into a slasher axis. Yuki Jide is very familiar with this transition. In the era when the God of Circles had not yet been sanctioned. As long as you can gather 2 4-star monsters on the field, even if it's on the side of the road, you can turn into a slasher. At the same time, Slasher can also use the powerful R4 power of its family to turn any 4 XYZ. For example, Slasher Hope, Slasher Cannon Monster, etc., all of them were like this. Of course. As for the strength, it depends on one's own opinion. After all, the deck that can be supported by Slasher has limited strength to begin with, and adding Slasher Axis only adds a slightly more weight to struggle. At this moment, after Weizhou activated the Great Sand Sea, the surrounding venue began to change significantly. The Golden Sand Sea began to flow rapidly, and countless sand pillars buried underground began to surge outward. The venue magic card Great Sand Sea has been successfully activated. As long as Golden Gorgonda, Great Sand Sea is on the field, the attack power of the Treasure Cannon monster on the field will increase by 1000 points. Ultra 5 shouted and was about to activate the effect of the Great Sand Sea, then. The moment you activate the field magic card, I will activate the effect of Destiny Hero, Destruction Phoenix on the field. Yu Chengzhide raised his eyelids and shouted before Wei Suwo activated the effect, it can be activated in both turns. Destroy 1 card on your field and 1 card on the field. What? Wei Zhuiwu was surprised. I choose to destroy the Destiny Hero, Gunner on my field, as well as the field spell card on your field. Great Sand Sea, Golden Gorgonda. Yuijo Jide was well versed in the deployment of the treasure guarding cannon monster. Naturally, it was impossible to activate this large sand sea. Under the power of the Phoenix Man, the gunpuller on the field and the field magic card Great Sand Sea Golden Gorgonda were shattered at the same time. Then, under the power of the Dark Claw, they quickly disappeared into an unknown dimension. It was actually excluded? Is it the effect of the masked hero, Dark Claw? Only then did Wei Suwo realize that there was something wrong with Dark Claw. That's right, as long as Dark Claw is on the field, the card sent to the opponent's graveyard will not be sent to the graveyard, but will be directly banished. Yuki Jide smiled. This is the hero's original family, the other half of the first-hand suppression ability. Blood Demon D and Claw, in the eyes of the opponent, that is a one-way skill draw and a hellish combination of the universe. Where is the hero? Don't heroes fight uprightly? Can such a hellish effect be called a hero? The face of Wei Suwo is already quite ugly. Damn, if that's the case, I activate the magic card Treasure Guard Cannon Surveillance. Add a card from the deck to your hand, Great Sand Sea, Golden Gorgonda. If there is a Great Sand Sea, Golden Gorgonda in the field zone, you can add a Golden Cannon monster from your deck to your hand as a replacement, and then send a golden cannon monster to the graveyard. I should have made a lot of money, but because of Yuchen Judai's sudden attack, I could only barely search for one great San Si, golden Gorgonda. This time, I was directly at a loss. Sorry. It's not that easy for you to search. Yuchen Judai once again showed a dark smile on his face. Open the trap card. Counter trap card. Elemental protection. When a spell or trap card is activated, you can activate this effect by banishing a face-up elemental hero monster on your field until the end phase. That activation is invalid and destroyed. Yuchen Judai waved his arm. I choose to exclude the elemental hero, Sunrise Man on the field. Invalid, and destroy the treasure guard cannon demon surveillance you activated. 393 bang. Wei Suwu stared with wide eyes, dumbfounded as he watched the magic card in his hand shatter. Is this even possible? No, buddy, you won't even leave me a way out. It seems that you have used up all your 3 axes. Yuchen Judai grinned, are there any follow UPS? If not, then I have to prepare for my turn. Hey! Wei Zhuo's mouth twitched. A trace of cold sweat flowed down his forehead. My turn, end. As the voice fell, Sunrise, who was excluded by the divine protection of the elements, slowly descended from the sky and returned to the heroes. Then, the game is over. Yuchen Judai drew a card and waved his arm. Fight! All heroes, attack the opponent directly. After the words fell, the 5 heroes on the field launched an attack on Wei Zhuo at the same time. Looking at the overwhelming heroes, Wei Zhuo's mouth twitched slightly, and in an instant he was submerged in the heroes' attacks. Tail Star, LP80000. Yuchen Tendai, win. Ah, that's true. Captain, you still underestimate this person. Looking at her captain being pressed to the ground by Yuchen Judai, the pink-haired cat-eared girl on the Explorer shook her head helplessly. However, she held her face up and looked at Yuchen Judai, who was putting away the dual disc. The cat-eared girl raised a smile. Maybe, it takes such a powerful person to solve the disaster of the Abyss Dimension now. Congratulations to the host for defeating the card elf, the Treasure Guard Cannon Monster Captain Wei Suwu. The Treasure Cannon Monster card group has been sent to the host's collection card book. Because the power of the robot elf cannot be absorbed, the system automatically replaces the reward. Mechanical Monster Tianting No. Arceus, has been sent to the host card book. Listening to the system voice ringing in his ears, Yuchen Judai, who was putting away the dual disc, was stunned for a moment. He opened his hand. Looking at the card that appeared in his palm, Yuchen Judai couldn't help but take a deep breath. Finally unlocked. The end of the XYZ monster. Chapter 109. Ship, Captain. Captain. Are you okay? Seeing Wei Zhuo being beaten up by the heroes, a group of treasure-guarding artillery monsters rushed over and nervously checked Wei Zhuo. Ahem, no, fine. Wei Zhuo waved his hands weakly. What a joke. How dare you hurt the captain? This time I have to fight hard. Damn outsiders. A bunch of treasure-guarding artillery monsters looked at Yuchen Judai angrily. As their most beloved boss, Asugo had always been protecting them. Now, it was time for them to protect their boss. Okay. Let's end this farce now. Just as the group of treasure guards were preparing to fight with Yuchen Judai, a voice came from the Explorer, which immediately dispelled the anger of the treasure guards. The treasure guards looked up and saw a pink-haired cat-eared girl jumping off the ship and landing lightly between the treasure guards and Judai. They are not enemies, but people who help us deal with the death prison village. The girl smiled and looked at Yuchen Judai. Do you remember me? I met you in Lonji country before. My name is GTE. Ah, it's you. Of course, Yuchen Judai still remembers this girl who once drove a blue bear on the battlefield to help Judai and his men escape from the church's encirclement. Kit. The younger sister of the disciple Feliget in the Iron Beast front. Ever since the outbreak of the brand of the Dragon Righteous Kingdom and the degeneration of the Dragon Righteous Kingdom into the Death Prison Township, the Iron Beast front has also been suppressed by the Death Prison Township. The combat effectiveness of the corrupted church personnel has risen by more than one level. As a result, the Iron Beast front had to retreat temporarily. In order to prevent the youngest Kit from being hurt, Schlegel entrusted Kit to the Treasure Cannon monsters and asked the Treasure Cannon monsters to protect Kit's safety. Kit quickly became friends with the Treasure Cannon monsters. And using her genius knowledge of mechanics, she helped the treasure cannon monsters improve a large number of rockets, making them fully armed. I just stayed here with the treasure guards. So, we are all comrades on the same front. After hearing Kit's explanation, the treasure guards, who were originally on edge, immediately relaxed. What? It turns out he's one of our own. Really, since they are one of us, we should bring a token of our own. Yes, yes, we thought they were enemies. The treasure guards complained. A token? Ecclesia blinked, looking curious. Yes, this is it. Kit took out a small golden mechanical bird from her pocket. This is called Mercury Messenger, and it is our token of passage here. Nowadays, the power of the death prison is getting stronger and stronger. In order to avoid being harmed, everyone who is active in the Great Sand Sea uses this token to confirm their identity. Looking at the small mechanical bird, Ecclesia and the water fairy suddenly realized. I'll give this to you guys, so you don't get any misunderstandings next time you meet someone else. Kit smiled and gave the mechanical bird to Ecclesia. Thank you, thank you. Ecclesia hurriedly thanked. Speaking of which, why are you in such a place? At this time, Captain Wei Suwu was repairing some damaged parts on his body and asked in confusion. As a wanted criminal of Long Yi country, shouldn't Ecclesia be as far away from Long Yi country as possible? Why did she run back to the Great Sand Sea for no reason? We are here to save Sister Flordelis. Moreover, we must completely resolve this farce of branding. Ecclesia pursed her lips and told the purpose of their trip. Solve the current death prison village. Hearing Ecclesia's words, the treasure guards showed surprised expressions. Is this true? Are there just 3 of you? Isn't this too impossible? That's right, you have no idea how scary those guys are now. A group of treasure-guarding artillery monsters all tried to dissuade Jade and his group. Just 3 people going to deal with the death prison village, what's the difference between this and committing suicide? I also think you should not be too impulsive. Jade couldn't help but persuade. But, without waiting for Ecclesia to say anything, Kit continued, we have discovered a method that can quickly target the branding, which may be able to directly solve the problem of the death prison. A way to solve the branding problem? Ecclesia was surprised. Well, we found that the bullets made using the energy of the Iron Nation have a considerable ability to restrain creatures infected with the mark. So, we are now preparing to go to the Iron Kingdom to obtain this special energy. Jade smiled and took out a map from his pocket and spread it out on the sand. On the map was drawn the map of the Abyss Dimension, the northern continent. The location of the Iron Kingdom was on the south side of Longji Kingdom, at the other end of the Great Sand Sea. That was where our orc tribe gathered. However, due to some reasons, we were abandoned from there, so we wandered to the Great Sand Sea and formed the Iron Beast Front organization. Although we have some resentment towards that place, we are still prepared to return to the Iron Kingdom to try to solve the mark. Jade looked at Yuki Jade, Ecclesia, and Naad. If you also want to solve all this, how about joining us? Go to the Iron Kingdom. Yajo Jade stroked his chin. There are 2 hidden decks in the Iron Kingdom. For a full deck collector like me, it is really necessary to go to the Iron Kingdom. After accepting Kit's invitation, the group boarded the noisy explorer and began to head towards the Iron Country. Although riding a ship is nothing new, riding a ship that can sail on the sand is a very novel thing. Along the way, Ecclesia and the water fairy lay in front of the window and looked at the scenery outside the window in surprise. This vast and boundless sea of sand made Ecclesia and the water fairy exclaim at the same time. Yuchen Jade was in the cockpit, watching Kit and Asugo operate the explorer forward. Kit also explained some of the situation in the Iron Country to Yuchen Jade along the way. The energy body that can resist the mark is located on the top of an active volcano on the south side of the Iron Country. It is a disc-shaped flying saucer called Beast Belt Fighting God Ring Arena. And the disc-shaped flying saucer that is perched on the top of the volcano and barely maintains its operation by relying on volcanic energy is a mysterious flying object that descended from the Abyss Dimension many years ago. Although no one knows where this flying object came from. But everyone who boarded the disc knew that inside the disc there was a mysterious artificial intelligence that protected the disc autonomously. Endless organs, Silver Star System. And it is the Silver Star System that has the powerful power to fight against the brand, and it is also the purpose of Kit and his team's trip. However, in order to protect itself, the Silver Star System gave birth to many powerful guardians called Beast Belt Fighting Gods in the circular arena. If you want to get close to the Silver Star system, you must defeat these guardians. Jite said as she repaired the gadget in her hand. Beast Belt Fighting God. Jide understood. The Silver Star system is a technological energy body that possesses power beyond this dimension. In the card story, Osaka defeated all the Beast Belt Fighting Gods. The Silver Star system was obtained by defeating the satellite shinings that guard the Silver Star system. It was with the Silver Star system that Kit created the power to restrain Alab and the world-destroying cannon that could destroy the entire sky. At the critical moment, she used the power of the Silver Star system to combine Osaka and King of the Beast Belt Fighting God Regulus 14 into Giant Jet Champion Osaka, which reversed the situation between Albus and Alab. It can be said that Kit is the MVP of the entire battle in the Abyss Dimension. And Jideyuki's goal is not the Silver Star system. What he really wants are the 2 decks of cards of the Guardian Silver Star system. Beast Belt Fighting God. And Satellite Shining. It seems that it is time to prepare for these 2 decks. Touching his chin. Chapter 110. After sailing in the Sea of Sand for a while, the noisy explorer switched to flight mode when it was about to sail out of the Great Sea of Sand, and gradually entered the volcanic belt of the Iron Kingdom. As soon as it flew into this continuous volcanic area, the color of the surrounding sky began to dim rapidly. The entire cabin was a fiery red, and the temperature rose rapidly. As robots, the treasure-guarding cannon monsters did not seem to react to the rising temperature. On the contrary, the water fairy and Ecclesia suffered a lot in this gradually rising temperature. The water fairy looked like she was about to be cooked, lying on the table with her tongue sticking out. Ecclesia's eyes were also rolling, and the heat on her forehead was boiling, and she looked like she was about to faint. Yes, I want it to be hot as hell. What's going on? The temperature here is too high. Help! I'm going to be roasted fish. The entire explorer was enveloped in a ball of terrifying heat energy. The temperature in the cabin even soared to hundreds of degrees. It was no exaggeration to say that it could roast a person. Oh, sorry, we have entered the volcanic zone and forgot to turn on the air conditioning in the cabin. After all, the guys in the cabin are usually all iron lumps. In order to save energy, usually only the captain's room is air-conditioned, ha ha ha. Just then, Kit's voice suddenly sounded from the speaker on the top of the cabin. Soon, accompanied by a cool breeze, the temperature of the whole room began to drop sharply. Ecclesia and the water fairy, who were about to burst with heat, finally collapsed on the ground with a look of comfort. Really? Pay more attention next time. That's right. I almost suffocated to death. The 2 of them waved their fists at the loudspeaker angrily. After escaping death, the 2 of them could finally relax and lean on the window to observe the situation outside. The Iron Country is located in the active volcano area of the northern continent. Unlike those cities outside, the town buildings here are built in the lava area closest to the volcano. The buildings are located in the rolling magma, which looks like a wonder. In the cab. Looking at the scenery outside the ship from the cab, 837 Yuki Jide had an inexplicable illusion that he had entered the volcano mansion. The black and grey buildings were all made of steel. One could even see many orcs and robots busy at work. It was clear that in the Abyss Dimension, there were indeed races that could live in such a harsh environment. Soon, as the explorer went deeper into the Iron Kingdom, the tallest volcano that spewed out hot lava from time to time came into the sight of Jide and his party. At the top of the giant volcano, a large blue disc-shaped spaceship hovered in the sky. A thick iron pipe led from the spaceship directly to the crater, constantly absorbing the power emitted by this giant active volcano. There was the destination of Jide and his party. Disc Arena Beast Belt Fighting God Ring Arena. Everyone, be sure to take protective measures when you go down. Kit reminded the water fairy and Ecclesia in the cabin. As an orc, Kit didn't have much feeling for the environment here. But the water fairy and Ecclesia were not sure. Oh, by the way, Jide, you should also put on the protective suit. Seeing Jide also getting off the boat, Kit immediately took out a heavy protective suit from the side. No, thanks, this temperature is nothing. Yuchen Jide declined Kit's kindness. He himself is not an ordinary human. Possessing the darkness of the universe and the soul of the Overlord, Jide has long been immune to cold and heat. Not to mention the high temperature environment. Even if he jumps into a volcano, it will be no problem. Watching Jide get off the explorer, Kit couldn't help but sigh in amazement. Is this guy really a human? The orcs of the Iron Kingdom need the energy from the volcano to forge steel and weapons. In order to easily extract volcanic energy, the orcs built many ladders leading to the top of the volcano. Following these ladders, the Jade group soon arrived at the disc-shaped spaceship on the top of the volcano. The temperature inside the spaceship has dropped a lot. Ecclesia and the water fairy can finally take off their heavy protective suits and take a breath. Intrusion detected. Silver Star System Protection Program has been activated. However, it didn't last long. As everyone entered, an alarm sounded throughout the spacecraft. Oh, so cool! Does the Silver Star System have the ability to automatically identify intruders? Kit looked at the flashing alarm device in the corridor curiously. As an artificial intelligence, the Silver Star System already has its own self-awareness. Especially after absorbing the extremely high temperature in the volcano. The personality of the Silver Star System has also become violent and aggressive. Basically, every intruder who breaks into the spacecraft will be attacked by the Silver Star System. High concentration of energy body detected. Beast Belt Fighting God is starting. Amidst a series of alarms, Kit led everyone to the circular arena on top of the spaceship. As soon as they stepped in, they saw a ball of pure blue energy floating in the sky. That ball of pure energy was staring at the group of people who came here with its two big eyes. Finally here. Invader. Hey! What do you mean by invaders? Lend us some of your power, and we will use it to deal with those abyss monsters. Kit waved her arms angrily and shouted at the Silver Star System in the sky. Snort, I have no interest in helping you deal with any abyss monsters. Obviously, the Silver Star System had no intention of agreeing to Kit's rude request. However, if you can defeat the Guardians here through the ring match, the Beast Belt Fighting Gods. But soon, the Silver Star System changed the subject. Beast Belt Fighting God. Everyone looked up and saw 6 black shadows falling from the sky in front of the circular arena, raising a cloud of dust on the ground. As the dust dispersed, 6 giant robots of different shapes appeared in front of everyone. These robots all had very obvious characteristics. Among them, the one with the strongest sense of oppression was the one standing in the middle, a warrior robot wearing a red cloak like a lion. Beast Belt Fighting God King Xianyuan 1-4. Come and challenge them. Defeat them, and you may be qualified to meet me. The Silver Star System made a hissing sound, as if simulating a human's sneer. Oh? A boxing match? That means it has to be solved by force. Jade clenched her fists, looking very excited. Although she has no fighting ability, don't forget that she still has strong men like Jade and Asugo to help her. No. However, the Silver Star System interrupted Kit. I've seen enough fighting. That one over there. The Silver Star System gathered a finger of electric current and pointed it at Jade. Me. Jade pointed at himself. That's right, looking at the dual disc on your arm, you are a duelist, right? How about you, in a duel, compete with our king here? Silver Star System's words surprised everyone. In a duel? Hearing the words of the Silver Star System, Jade raised his mouth. That's true. It couldn't be better. Walking into the circular arena. The golden lion-shaped robot opposite Jade had also walked into the arena. The two looked at each other and raised the dual disc on their arms. If you don't want to duel, it's fine to decide the outcome with fists. Before entering the duel, Jade smiled and reminded. No, this battle, a duel is enough. Obviously, Xianyuan 14 didn't care about the reminder of the 10th generation. As the strongest among the Beast Belt Fighting Gods, the undefeated legend in the circular arena, Xianyuan 14 is the best among the best in terms of fighting skills, strength, and dueling ability. It is extremely confident in its own strength. Naturally, it will not take the human duelist in front of it seriously. Then let's get started. Jade smiled calmly. Duel. Yuchen 10th generation, LP8000. Beast Belt Fighting God King Xianyuan 14, LP8000. I will attack first. He scanned the cards in his hand. Xianyuan 14 immediately locked onto one of them. Activate Magic Card Planet Transformation. Add a field spell card from your deck to your hand. According to this card, I added the field magic card, Circular Arena, Beast Belt Fighting God Ring Arena to my hand and activated it. As the card was inserted into the dual disc, the ring around Xianyuan 14 and Jade began to change rapidly and rise. Amid the exclamations of the crowd, the ring under the feet of the two of them was already in the air. Outside the ring, the magma in the volcano was jumping, and the sparks flying gave the ring a different sense of oppression. As the effect of this card, add a Beast Belt Fighting God monster from the deck to your hand. Regulus selected a card and added it to his hand. Then he continued, then, activate the magic card, Endless Mechanism, Silver Star System. From your deck, send a Beast Belt Fighting God card to the graveyard. I choose to send Beast Belt Fighting Goddess Queen Alasia Star to the cemetery. And activate the effect of Beast Belt Fighting God Lily Wei So Er in the hand card. Xian Yuan. 14 continued to unfold. You can only activate this effect by targeting a Beast Belt Fighting God monster or a plant-type monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card, and use the target monster as an equip card to equip this card. I special summon Weizhu Er. And equip it with Alasia Star. Xian Yuan 14 raised the card in his hand. With a strong flash of light, Weizhu Er, covered with red armor and surrounded by vines, emerged from the light. The next moment, the snake-shaped robot Alasia Star in the cemetery also emerged. Under the shocked eyes of everyone, it was heavily embedded in Weizhu Er's body and became one with it. Beast Belt Fighting God Lily Wei So Er. Star Rating, 8. Plant Family. Attack Power, 2400 3100, Defense Power, 2500. 2 monsters, merged. Seeing the scene at this moment, Ecclesia covered her mouth with a look of shock. Every time we defeat an opponent, we will integrate the opponent's weapons and abilities into our bodies as our trophies of victory. Xian Yuan 14 clenched his heavy iron fist and shouted coldly. Keep breaking through and evolving in battle. This. Chapter 111. Xian Yuan Shizi's words made everyone feel pressured. Only Yuki Jide could remain calm and watched Xian Yuan Shizi unfold in front of him calmly. Beast Belted Fighting God is different from regular decks. Beast Belted Fighting God's home races are different. By taking the home card in the graveyard or the card of the same race in the graveyard as the target, it can be special summoned. And after special summoning, Beast Belted Fighting God can turn the target card into its own equipment card. If the equipped monster is a Beast Belted Fighting God monster, then the attack power will increase by 700 points, and the second effect of the equipped monster can also be inherited. Of course, the strength of the Beast Belted Fighting God deck is limited. Most of the time, they rely on the characteristics of the home race and no self-restraint to go on business trips to other decks of the same race. For example, the Beast Belted Fighting God King Xian Yuan Shizi of the Mechanical Clan often goes on business trips to the Cyber Dragon deck. Beast Belted Fighting God Lily Wei So Er of the Plant Clan is also a frequent visitor in the 6-flower deck. However, Xian Yuan Shizi's operation. Let Yuchen Jide gradually realize what he wants to do next. Equipped with the Erasia Star's Gastria 2, it also inherits the Erasia Star's secondary effect. By discarding a card from your hand, you can activate this effect by targeting a Beast Belt Fighting God monster in your spell or trap zone. Special summon that card. Xian Yuan 14 said, and sent another card to the cemetery. I sent Beast Belt Fighting God Leaping Fish Thunderbolt 1 to the cemetery. Special summon Beast Belt Fighting Goddess Queen Alashiya Star in the Demon Trap Zone. Boom! Alashiya Star on the field was immediately separated from Wei So Er. Then, it fell heavily into Xian Yuan 14's monster zone. Beast Belt Fighting Goddess Queen Alashiya Star. Star Rating, 8. Reptiles. Attack Power, 2100, Defense Power, 2500. At the same time, Wei So Er's attack power dropped back to 2400 points. As he spoke, Xian Yuan 14 quickly took the 2 cards off the dual disc. He held the 2 cards between his fingers and said coldly. Next, I will use the 2 8-star monsters on the field to build a stacking network. XYZ Summon. XYZ Summon. Seeing Xian Yuan Shizi's operation, everyone was secretly surprised. Yuki Jide also frowned, and all the 8th level monsters that Xian Yuan Shizi could summon flashed through his mind. No cards are unique to the Zexal dimension in the dual world. Excluding no monsters and Giant Jet Champion Tail that cannot appear in the current time period. Then, Xian Yuan Shizi can only special summon one XYZ monster. Come out. Level 8. Dragon Knight Shining. As expected. Seeing the XYZ monster card in Xian Yuan 14's hand, Yuki Jide understood. Dragon Knight, Shining is one of the few 8th level monsters that is easy to use and easy to use. Xianyuan 14 will XYZ summon this monster, which is within the scope of the 10th generation. While thinking, the XYZ vortex has already broken. The Dragon Knight, wearing golden armor and holding a scimitar, has entered the scene in a gorgeous golden light. Dragon Knight Shining. Tier 8. Warrior/Over. XS Materials 2. Attack Power 2800, Defense Power 1800. Humph, it seems that this monster is quite easy for you to deal with. Seeing that Yuki Jidai's expression did not change, Xianyuan Shizi snorted coldly, but this is just an appetizer. The real king is here. Holding the card in his hand high, Xianyuan 14 shouted. Activate the effect of Beast Belt Fighting God King Xianyuan 14 in my hand card. The highlight is coming. Yuchen Jidai frowned slightly. By targeting Beast Belt Fighting God Leaping Fish Thunderbolt 1 in the graveyard, I special summon myself. And equip Pili 1. Xianyuan 14 shouted, leaped up, and landed heavily in the monster area on the field, raising a cloud of dust. The Pili 1 in the cemetery also quickly disintegrated, and the fish tail and water gun on its body also turned into parts and equipped on Xianyuan 14. As the dust dissipated, Xianyuan 14, equipped with Pili 1's body parts, officially appeared in front of everyone. Under the dancing flames of the crater, he slowly extended his finger to Yuki Jidai. Come on! Defeat me head-on! Challenger! Beast Belt Fighting God King Xianyuan 14. Star Rating, 8. Mechanical Family. Attack Power, 2800-3500, Defense Power, 1600. Cover a card, the turn ends. He covered the card in his hand. Xianyuan 14 officially ended his turn. At this time, the Silver Star system also made a sizzling sound of electricity. Xianyuan 14 equipped with Thunderbolt 1 has two different effects at the same time. The effect of Thunderbolt 1 is to activate it during the opponent's turn, targeting a Beast Belt Fighting God card in your spell/trap zone and a card on the opponent's field, returning those cards to their owner's hands. Xianyuan 14, when the opponent activates the effect of the card, send a Beast Belt Fighting God monster card in the hand or on the field to the graveyard to activate it, and negate the effect. Silver Star System's words made Jite and others who were watching the game suddenly show surprised expressions. Doesn't that mean that now, Xianyuan 14 alone has the ability to return the opponent's cards to their hand and negate their effects? Ecclesia was full of surprise. Not only that, Dragon Knight, Shine also has the ability to remove XYZ materials once per turn, making the effects of a face-up monster on the field ineffective and unaffected by other cards. Water Fairy quickly added. In other words, Xianyuan 14 now has 2 Kangs and 1 Donshao field. Jite touched his chin, as if he understood something. It's not as simple as it seems. Don't forget that Xianyuan 14 has a cover card in the backcourt, and we don't know the specific effects of the field magic card. Wei Suwu shook his head, obviously feeling the difficulty of this field. Doesn't that mean that the 10th generation is going to lose? It's better to just use fists. If Jidai loses, who will be the next one to play? The rest of the treasure guards also started to discuss. It was not hard to see that they had already started to prepare for Jidai's death. No, I always feel, Jidai looked quite relaxed. Ecclesia shook her head and interrupted the frustrated words of the treasure guards. She looked at Yuki Jidai who had a calm expression on the field. She could feel that Jidai seemed to have already prepared all the solutions. It's my turn, draw a card. Yajo Jidai draws a card from his deck. Come on, humans. I look forward to a fair duel with you. Xianyuan 14 clenched his fists and stared at Yajo Jidai expectantly. He wanted to see if this young man was worthy of him using all his strength. Fair and square. Looking at the card in his hand, Yuki Jidai raised his lips and said, then let's have a fair duel. Activate the field magic card, Kyoto Tower, Seaside Area. Yajo Jidai waved his hand. A towering tower that reached the sky immediately rose from behind Jidai. Humph, are you going to start with a field magic card like me? Xianyuan Shishi crossed his arms, looking down at Jidai. It's useless, when you start to activate the first effect, my chain hell will be fully effective. Yuchen Jidai raised his eyelids, turning a deaf ear to Xianyuan Shishi's words, and took out another card from his hand. Then, activate the continuous magic card, Evil Beast Appearance Record. Hey! Bad beast. Xian Yuan Shizi was slightly startled. What kind of deck is this? Why do I feel a little hairy on my back? And I don't know if it's an illusion. Why do I feel like my body is glowing? Xian Yuan Shizi then realized that his body was constantly emitting a faint light. It was as if swish. Before Xian Yuan 14 could come to his senses. The next moment, a strong beam of light instantly rose from Xian Yuan 14's body. Under the shocked gaze of everyone, Xian Yuan 14 instantly disappeared from the field. And at the place where Xian Yuan 14 disappeared, a giant monster with flames spewing from its mouth suddenly appeared. Angry Beast Togolan. Star Rating, 8. Dinosaurs. Attack Power, 3000, Defense Power, 1200. And Xian Yuan 14, having left the monster area, returned to the duelist area. Bad Beast has the ability to release a monster on the opponent's field and attack the opponent's field to indicate a special summon. Yuchen Jude smiled and showed his angry flame. Bad Beast, Togolan, in other words, you have been liberated by me. It stared at Togolan, who had appeared inexplicably on its field in amazement, with an expression of complete disbelief. Was he freed by his opponent? Moreover, as he was freed, the thunderbolt I equipped on him was also sent directly to the graveyard. Damn! 2 counters and 1 bullet, and he hadn't done anything yet, and now he only had 1 counter left. It's not over yet. Because Beast Belt Fighting God King Xian Yuan 14 and Beast Belt Fighting God Leaping Fish Thunderbolt 1 were sent to the cemetery. So Kyoto Tower Seaside Area placed 2 Bad Beast indicators. As soon as Yezhou finished speaking, the tower behind him immediately filled up 2 golden energy bars. Jingta Seaside Area. Bad Beast Counter, 02. Then, because a Bad Beast was special summoned from the hand in graveyard. Record of the appearance of Bad Beasts. Also add a Bad Beast indicator. Bad Beast Appearance Record. Bad Beast Counter, 01. Then, when the opponent has a Bad Beast monster on the field, I can special summon Bad Turtle, Game Seal to the field in attack position. Yezhou once again showed a card in his hand. Come out. Turtle Beast. Swish. A giant deep blue sea turtle jumped out of the sea and roared as it appeared on Yuki Jude's field. Turtle Bad Beast Game Seal. Star Rating, 8. Aqua. Attack Power, 2200, Defense Power, 3000. Also, with the special summon of the Turtle Bad Beast, another indicator will be added to the Bad Beast's appearance record. Bad Beast Appearance Record. Bad Beast Counter, 12. In this way, I have a total of 4 Evil Beast tokens on the field. Yuchen Jude's mouth slightly raised. Chapter 112. Each Bad Beast in the Bad Beast deck has the ability to liberate a monster on the opponent's field and special summon it on the opponent's field. This special summoning does not even have a limit of once per turn. Of course, with such a powerful ability to clear the field, the Bad Beasts naturally have certain limitations. That is, there can only be 1 Bad Beast on the duelist's field. However, if the Bad Beast is paired with some special decks, for example, decks like Sea Crystal Girl and Witch, it is possible to recover the Bad Beast specially recruited to the opponent's field and clear another monster of the opponent. Of course, the power of the Bad Beast is not only in clearing the field. In a pure Bad Beast deck, the Bad Beasts each possess a terrifying power beyond imagination. Especially the Turtle Bad Beast. Tisk, you actually liberated me directly. Xian Yuan 14's expression became a little embarrassed. But fortunately, it is very clear about the shortcomings of Beast God. As a deck that can obtain 2 different effects only after equipping another monster. The strengths and weaknesses of Beast God are also on this. Once one of the monsters is removed, the equipment card equipped on that monster will also be sent to the graveyard, and its effect cannot be activated. Therefore, this kind of liberation monster, Lava Golem, Bad Beast, Egg, are the best way to remove Beast God. However, Xian Yuan 14 also has a solution. 4-3. Open the cover card. The Beast Belt Fighting God stands up. Target a Beast Belt Fighting God monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster, then you can choose a Beast Belt Fighting God monster from your hand or graveyard as an equipment card. Xian Yuan 14 waved his hand. I choose Beast Belt Fighting God King Xian Yuan 14 in the graveyard to special summon it. And equip Beast Belt Fighting God Leap Fish Thunderbolt 1 to myself again. Oh no! In this case, the beast will have the ability to attack twice and shoot once again. GTE was horrified. Moreover, Jade also wasted 2 cards in his hand and added a angry flame beast, Togolan, to the opponent's field. They. Water Fairy couldn't help but exclaimed. This is so bad for the 10th generation. Humph, I can't let you activate the effect so easily. Yuchen Jade raised his lips slightly. Activate the effect of Turtle Beast, Game Seal on my own field. When the opponent activates magic, traps, or monster effects other than Game Seal, you can activate this by removing 2 beast counters on your and your opponent's fields. That activation is invalid and is directly excluded. As soon as the words fell, the sea turtle beast immediately burst into roars. The terrifying roar made the entire circular venue tremble, and even the volcano outside the venue had a faint sign of eruption in the monster's roar. Don't even think about it. Dragon Knight, Shine effect activated. Xian Yuan. 14 naturally won't give Jade the chance to banish his own card. Once per turn, remove 1 XYZ material from this card. Activate by targeting a face-up monster on the field. This turn, the effect of that monster is invalid and is not affected by the effects of this card. Xian Yuan 14 immediately activated the second speed chain. The Dragon Knight on the field, Shining, also swung the scimitar in his hand and cut off a piece of XYZ material surrounding him. Sorry. The effect of the Turtle Beast Game Seal is activated again. Jade said coldly. Neglect the effect of the Dragon Knight. And exclude it. What? This monster doesn't have a limit of once per round. Xian Yuan 14 was shocked. Sorry, as long as I have enough bad beast counters on the field, then bad Turtle Beast, Game Seal can activate its effect indefinitely. Yuchen. Jade smiled indifferently. Unlimited activation of 3-color counter. You are too unreasonable. Xian Yuan 14 was dumbfounded. You can have unlimited 3-color counter, then what can I do? However, the number of bad beast counters is limited after all, and the 10th generation bad beast deck is not so abnormal as to be invincible. Akrisha quickly analyzed the current situation. Moreover, bad beast counters are shared by the entire field. Even the bad beasts on the opponent's field can use bad beast counters to activate effects. Swish! As all 4 bad beast counters were eliminated, the Dragon Knight on the field and Beast Belt Fighting God Rise Up were instantly transmitted to the other dimension. Now, Xian Yuan 14 only had 1 Angry Flame Bad Beast, Togolan, and a Field Magic Card Disc Arena, Beast Belt Fighting God Ring Arena on the field. Good news, the monster on my field has a higher attack power than the opponent. Bad news, this monster belongs to the opponent. Whispering sound, now, there are only 2 monsters left on our field. Xian Yuan Shizi stared at Yuki Jade. The Angry Flame Beast, Togolan you summoned for me has the ability to remove 3 beast counters once per turn and destroy all monsters on the opponent's field. And its attack power of 3000 points is far greater than that of the Turtle Beast on your field. Now, although you have eliminated all the monsters on my field, the situation is still firmly in my hands. Clenching his fists, Xian Yuan 14 still looks like he is sure of victory. Yes. Judging from the current situation on the field, Xian Yuan 14 is still in the upper hand. What's more, as long as it is the next round, Xian Yuan 14 will be able to revive the beast-belted fighting gods in the cemetery. And Jade can't summon a second bad beast because of the characteristics of the bad beast itself. He can't resist the attacks of the beast-belted fighting gods. Yet, Jade shows a magic card in his hand. Activate magic card. 3 Wars Talent. During the main phase of your turn, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can choose one of the 3 effects of the 3 war talents to activate. 1. Draw 2 cards from your deck. 2nd, select a monster on the opponent's field and take control of it until the end of the turn. 3. Check the opponent's hand and select a card from it to return to the deck. Jade said, pulling out 2 cards from the deck. I choose an effect and draw 2 cards. After that, activate the continuous magic card. Jade held up the card in his hand. The next moment, the huge circular arena around him began to change. A golden light enveloped the arena. As long as the Emperor's arena is on the field and there are monsters on your field, then, the opponent cannot place more monsters than the ones on our field into the monster zone. I only have 1 monster on the field, which means that you can only have 1 monster on the field. Yuchen Jade pointed directly at Togolan on Xian Yuan Shishi's field. Hearing Yuchen Jade's words, the whole field exclaimed. Even Xian Yuan Shishi was stunned. This also means The existence of the Emperor Arena made Xianyuan Shishi, who already had the angry flame beast on the field, unable to summon any beast-belted fighting god monsters. Even if it was a superior summon. As a family of 7-star and 8-star beast-belted fighting gods, 2 monsters must be sacrificed. This also means, 0. Xianyuan Shishi only has this angry flame beast that can be used on the field. You are so despicable. Yuchen Jade. Xianyuan 14's entire robot is going crazy. Oh? Didn't you say we should have a fair fight? We each have a monster, and we fight each other in an open and above-board manner. Isn't that fair enough? Jade looked at Xianyuan 14 with a smile. You punch me and I punch you. How fair and above-board is that? You. Xianyuan Shizi almost spit out a mouthful of motor oil. You call this upright? Aren't you just disgusting others? Are you sure you won't be pinned to the ground and beaten to death by your opponent if you play dual monsters like this? 2 cards are hidden, and the round ends. Jade smiled and hidden the 2 cards in his hand. Asshole, how dare you fool this king like this? Xianyuan Shizi was so angry that smoke came out of his head. He suddenly pulled out a card, his eyes turned red with anger. It's my turn, draw a card. In that case, you should experience for yourself the attack of your angry flame beast, Togolan. Enter the battle phase. Xianyuan 14 waved his hand. Then, I will activate the trap card at this moment. Jade raised his lips, and immediately activated the card on the field. Choose a magic cylinder from your deck or graveyard and place it on your field. If you set the card from the deck, you can activate the magic cylinder in the turn you set it. Saying this, Jade placed the magic cylinder on his field in front of Xianyuan Shizi. Xianyuan Shizi. The effect of the magic cylinder is that when the opponent's monster declares an attack, it can only be activated by targeting an attacking monster, invalidating the attack of the attacking monster and inflicting damage equal to the attack power of the opponent's monster. This card can be said to be one of the most classic attack traps in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Attack Trap. As the name suggests, it is a trap card that can only be activated when an attack is declared. This type of card usually has great destructive and anti-injury capabilities. But because it must wait for the attack declaration to be activated. As a result, in today's dual environment, with more and more means such as destruction, clearing the field, ejecting cards, magic traps, and 5.9 battle stage blockades, the attack trap has slowly withdrawn from the stage of history. But, although the attack trap is not suitable for the current dual environment, but once the attack trap is successfully launched, it will be a devastating blow to the opponent. And Xianyuan 14 naturally couldn't know that the opponent had the magic cylinder, so he couldn't make any attack. Tisk, they even prepared such a disgusting card. Xianyuan 14's teeth are almost broken. In this case, I will. Just as the battle phase was about to end. Jade did not intend to end it just like that. Want to escape? Open another cover card. Continuous trap card. Dragon Star's Ultimate. Seeing Jade open the cover card, Xianyuan Shizi was slightly startled. Jade raised the corner of his mouth and slowly said. As long as Dragon Star's Ultimate exists in the magic and trap areas. Then, if you can attack the opponent's monster, you must attack it. Maru. Hearing Jade's words, Xianyuan Shizi's eyes widened. The people watching the battle around were also stunned at the scene in front of them. Monster 1v1, Magic Cylinder, Forced Attack. This. Chapter 113. This is too outrageous, isn't it? In the sky, the Silver Star System, which was observing all this, couldn't help but sigh. Jade, this guy, actually suppressed his opponent in the battle that the Beast Belt fighting gods are best at. And this guy's dual style. It's too damn human. Tisk, the battle begins. Angry Flame Beast, Togolan. Attack Turtle Beast, Gameseal. With nowhere else to go, Xianyuan 14 could only grit his teeth and launch an attack. Just 3000 damage. Even if I eat it, what can I do? Xianyuan 14 roared, and the angry flame beast on the field also condensed a deadly flame in its mouth and rushed straight towards the turtle beast. 3000. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Jade smiled calmly, and immediately opened the cover card beside him. Activate the trap card. Magic Cylinder. When the opponent's monster declares an attack, you can activate it by targeting one attacking monster. The attack of the attacking monster is invalid, and the opponent's monster is dealt damage equal to its attack power. The flames sprayed by the angry flame beast were quickly swallowed up by the magic cylinder. At this time, Yuki Jide changed the subject and. At the moment the magic cylinder is activated, the effect of the loaded cylinder in the graveyard is activated. From the graveyard. Xianyuan 14 was shocked. When you activate magic cylinder, you can activate it by banishing this card in the graveyard. The damage that effect inflicts on the opponent, 20 becomes twice the original. Hearing this, Xianyuan Shizi's face suddenly changed. Oh no! However, the magic tube's anti-damage had already rushed towards Xianyuan Shizi. In the blink of an eye, Xianyuan Shizi was knocked out, and then fell heavily to the ground, raising a cloud of dust. Xuanyuan 14, LP 80002000. So amazing, he didn't even attack, but just used the opponent's attack to instantly cripple the opponent. Seeing Yuchen Jude's beautiful counterattack, Weizhawu and a group of treasure-guarding artillery monsters couldn't help but exclaimed. Fortunately, Yuchen Jude didn't use such a wicked deck when he dueled with them. Otherwise, they might be as embarrassed as Xianyuan 14. Hateful. At this moment, Xianyuan 14 also climbed up from the ground with difficulty. My turn is over. There is no other way. At this point, Xianyuan 14 can only drag it out slowly. See if there is an opportunity to counterattack. Wait until the next turn, first transform the angry flame beast to defend himself, and then. There is no next round. Seeing Xianyuan Shizi still thinking, Yuchen Jude said calmly. What? Xianyuan Shizi's face changed, and he saw that Yuchen Jude's finger had already pressed on the duel disc. I mean, this card draw is enough to kill this duel. Yuchen Jude said slowly. Are you kidding me? Although I am at a disadvantage now, the attack power of the turtle beast on your field is lower than that of the raging flame beast after all. Xianyuan Shizi obviously didn't believe what Yuchen Jude said. Besides, you don't even have a hand card now. For a true duelist, everything is inevitable. Even the card draw is decided by the duelist. Yuchen Jude stared at Xianyuan 14. I already know what the next card will be. I know what the next card will be before I draw it. Xianyuan clenched his teeth and clenched his fists. How can it be? How could there be such a duelist in the world? My turn, draw a card. Yuchen Jude quickly drew a card. He didn't even look at what card he drew, and put the card in his hand on the duel disc. Magic card. Owner's seal activate. Buzz. A card appeared next to Yuki Jude. That card was exactly what Jude had declared, owner's seal. No, it's impossible. Xianyuan Shizi was horrified. Surprisingly, what this guy said was right. This card can return control of all monsters on the field to their original owners. Yuchen Jude opened his hands, and the angry flame beast, Togolan on the field immediately began to roar and twist its body. In other words, the control of the angry beast, Togolan on your field will be returned to me. Because of the characteristics of the bad beast, there can only be one bad beast on the field. The angry flame beast, Togolan on your field will be sent directly to my graveyard. As soon as the words fell, the angry flame beast on the field immediately turned into countless scattered flames and disappeared without a trace. Only Xianyuan 14 was left standing there in a daze, looking at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Fight! Turtle Bad Beast Game Seal. Attack directly. At this moment, Jude no longer hesitated. As the sea turtle beast roared and launched an attack. Xianyuan 14 was instantly blown away by the sea turtle beast and fell to the ground with a bang. Xuanyuan 14, LP 20000. Yuchen Jude, win. Not. It's over? The people around stared at the scene in front of them in amazement. No one expected that the king Xianyuan 14 would be defeated so easily by Jude. In the sky, the Silver Star system silently watched Xianyuan 14 fall. Even it itself did not expect that such a powerful Xianyuan 14 would be so vulnerable in front of Yuchen Jude. In fact, he was tortured to death by his opponent without even touching a hair. It's too outrageous, this guy's strength. Congratulations to the host for defeating the Dual Elf Beast Belt Fighting God King Xianyuan 14. The Beast Belt Fighting God card set has been sent to the host's collection card book. Because the power of the robot elf cannot be absorbed, the system automatically replaces the reward. Random Mechanical Card Group, Dragon Huiqiao Card Group unlocked. Put away the dual disc on his arm. Yu Zhao silently listened to the voice of the system beside his ear. Oh? Have you unlocked the Dragonite card deck? This is unexpected. But it's good this way. The Dragonite card deck can be matched with my existing announcer card deck. When I have time, I will find someone to test it. Since we have won, doesn't that mean we can take away the power of the Silver Star system? Jite was the first to react among the stunned crowd. At this time, everyone turned their eyes to the Silver Star system in the sky. The Silver Star system clearly showed a trace of uneasiness. It had never intended to give its power to anyone from the beginning. When it asked these people to challenge the Beast Belt Fighting God, the Silver Star system also thought that they would be beaten by the Beast Belt Fighting God. Unexpectedly, the first person who appeared knocked down the Beast Belt Fighting God who was protecting it. Damn it! Don't be happy too soon. My power will not be handed over to you so easily. Silver Star System's body suddenly began to flash with strong lightning. Strong lightning continued to burst out from the Silver Star System's body, bombarding the surrounding circular arena. Jade! Be careful! Looking at Yuki Jade, who was still standing in the center of the arena, Ecclesia and Nayad shouted in a hurry. However, the dense lightning flooded the entire circular arena in an instant. The surrounding walls were shattered by the lightning, turned into dust and disappeared in the lightning. Everyone was blocked outside the arena by the terrifying and dense lightning, and they couldn't even get close to hear. When the rolling thunder dissipated, Yuki Jade still stood firmly in the dark position opened by Yubel. He stared calmly at the Silver Star system in the sky, whose color gradually changed from blue to red and began to warm up. Yubel on the side also hugged his arms and watched the Silver Star system with him. Seeing that Jade was fine, Ecclesia and Nayad breathed a sigh of relief. Before they could celebrate for long, the angry Silver Star system suddenly spoke at this moment. Yajo Tende! I want to duel with you in person. Silver Star system, want to duel in person? Hearing the words of the Silver Star system, Yuchen Jade was slightly stunned, and then smiled. Are you finally ready to fight in person? Satellite Shining Deck. Okay. Lifting the dual disc on his arm, Yajo Jade selected another deck and inserted it into the dual disc. Then, a golden and emerald light appeared in his pupils. Whether it's a duel or something else. Chapter 114. Rumble. Thunder rumbled from the dark clouds in the sky. In the circular arena, Yuki Jade unfolded the dual disc and looked at the Silver Star system in the sky, which had turned blood red due to the rampage. From time to time, lightning would hit the ground around the Silver Star system, stirring up a piece of rubble. All around, Ecclesia, Nayad, Kit, and a group of treasure-guarding artillery monsters were all watching the situation nervously. The defeated Xianyuan 14 also walked out of the center of the thunderstorm with the help of the treasure-guarding artillery monsters, and sat on the ground to repair the broken parts on his body. I don't want to attack you, but it's different from fighting me. The Silver Star system will not be defeated by the little tricks from before. Xianyuan 14 stared at the Silver Star system on the stage, and the wounds on his body were still flashing with electricity from time to time. The thing that truly protects the Silver Star system is a being that is many times more powerful than us and even more terrifying. Besides, an existence more powerful than the Beast Belt Fighting God? Everyone looked at each other in surprise. Then, let the duel begin. A blue electronic panel opened in front of the Silver Star system. The panel showed the electronic version of the dual disc interface. Yuchen 10th generation, LP8000. Silver Star system, LP8000. DEUL. I'll take the first attack. Silver Star system took the lead in taking the first attack. At the moment of preparation, I activated this card from my hand. Seeing that the Silver Star system took the lead, Yajo Jade activated the card in his hand without hesitation. Proliferating G. The card that Jade Yuji activated stunned everyone around him. Multiplied G. During both players' turns, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to activate. During this turn, every time your opponent special summons a monster, you draw a card from your deck. At every time the opponent special summon, he can draw a card from the deck. Jade's words instantly shocked everyone watching the game. You know, nowadays it's not a one-on-one environment. In an era when everyone is pursuing full resource deployment, and special summons in one turn are basically commonplace. And every time the opponent special summon, he can draw a card from the deck. Either the opponent does not special summon and ends the turn directly. Or when the opponent is deployed, let the opponent draw more than a dozen cards for no reason. This kind of card is completely over the top. Don't make a fuss, it's just a cockroach, don't worry about me, just unfold yours. Yajojade shrugged with a harmless smile on his face. What a shitty expansion. A cross appeared on the forehead of the Silver Star system. But soon, its anger subsided. Looking at its hand card, the Silver Star system automatically analyzed a way to expand it to top G. In that case, let me show you. Beyond human imagination, the horror unfolds. The entire body of the Silver Star system immediately flashed with dense electric currents. I activate the magic card in my hand, secret command. From your deck, add a live twin spell / trap card, or evil twin spell / trap card to your hand. Seeing the cards on the Silver Star system field, Yuja raised his eyebrows. So that's it. Not only is it a satellite shining, but it's also mixed with the satellite shining of the live twins. If that's the case, then I'm more or less clear about what's going to happen next. I chose to add the continuous magic card, Live Twin Trouble Saying, and activated it. A continuous magic card immediately appeared on the Silver Star system field. As the effect of this card when it is activated, you can add a Live Twins monster from your deck to your hand. I chose to add the card to my hand, Live Twins, Lila. And I normal summoned it. A card of Lila immediately appeared on the dual interface of the Silver Star system. As cartoon-like subtitles appeared on the field, a blue-haired girl wearing a beret and a sailor skirt jumped out of the electronic world. Live Twins Lila. Stars, 2. Attack, 500. If this card is successfully normal summoned or special summoned, and there are no other monsters on your field, special summon a Kiss Killer monster from your hand or deck. I choose special summon, Live Twins, Kisses Killer. As the lightning flashed, a girl with red twin ponytails dressed in otaku clothes fell from the sky and landed in the monster area on the left side of Lila, making a scissor hand gesture. Live Twins Kiss Killer. Stars, 2. Attack power, 500. Yugi Jade silently pulled out a card, glanced at it, and added it to his hand. Then, when there is a Lila monster on your field, Live Twins, Kiss Kill Frost Spirit can be special summoned from your hand. Come out. Live Twins, Kiss Kill Cream Essence. As soon as the words fell, a girl with red twin ponytails and wearing sportswear jumped out from the rather exaggerated font and landed in the monster area on the right side of Lila. Live Twins Kiss Killer Cream Essence. Stars, 2. Attack, 500, Defense, 0. Yajojade silently drew another card and continued to watch the operation of the Silver Star system. Now, I will stack Live Twins, Lila and Live Twins, Jai Skeeler. The Silver Star system continued to expand. Perform an XYZ summon of 2 level 2 monsters. Come out. Giant Jet, Satellite Shining. Boom. In an instant, lightning struck the ground from the sky like a violent storm. In an instant, the entire arena was already filled with lightning. Lila and Kiss Killer simultaneously transformed into supermassive materials and poured into the lightning in the sky. Under the light that was as bright as day, the giant, whose body was filled with azure electric current, fell to the ground from the supermassive vortex, stirring up a terrifying light dust. Giant Jet, Satellite Shining. Tier, 2. Attack power, 1600, Defense power, 1600. It appeared. That monster is the real guardian of the Silver Star system, the Satellite Shining. Xianyuan 14 clenched his fist. Look, it doesn't seem like a big deal, a mere tier 2 monster, the water nymph blinked her eyes. No, the strength of a monster cannot be judged by its star rating or rank alone. Xianyuan Shizi shook his head, looked at the huge jet, and said in a deep voice, I can feel the terrifying power contained in that guy. On the field. Looking at the huge jet summoned by the Silver Star system, Yuki Jade raised his eyebrows and then drew another card from the deck. It finally appeared, the huge jet. In the 4th step, the huge jet was created, and then the effect of the huge jet was used to trigger the 2-star self-restraint of both parties, thus avoiding the effect of the meteorite. Did you even calculate this? But it's okay this way. Glancing at the 7 cards in his hand, Yuja raised his lips slightly. Activate the effect of a huge jet. During your main phase, remove an XYZ material from the field to activate. Special summon a 2-star monster from the deck. After this effect is activated, both players can only special summon 2-star, 2-level, 2-link monsters until the end of the turn. Silver Star system continued. I choose to special summon from the deck, Satellite Shining Blue Jet Spirit. Obviously, since the Silver Star system has already planned to launch a top G, then the next step is naturally to top G to the end. It once again put a card on the dual disc interface. Crack! A blue lightning flashed out of the huge jet. With a roar, it fell heavily to the ground. As the smoke and dust dissipated, a blue jet spirit wearing a black jacket appeared in front of the 10th generation. Satellite Shining Blue Jet. Stars, 2. Attack, 1100, Defense, 1000. Yajojude raised his eyelids and drew another card. The 8th hand card. Blue Jet Spirit can only be activated when the special summon is successful. Add a Satellite Shining monster from the deck to the hand card. Silver Star system took out Satellite Shining Jet Spirit from the deck, and then continued. Then, I special summoned Satellite Shining Jet Spirit from the hand card. White lightning flashed, and the Jet Spirit in a white windbreaker flew out from the halo around the Silver Star system and landed lightly beside the Blue Jet Spirit. Satellite Shining Jet. Attack, 1300, Defense, 700. 9th hand card. Yajojude draws another card. When the Jet Spirit effect is activated and this card is special summoned successfully, retrieve a satellite spell or trap card from your deck and add it to your hand. I added Satellite Flash Starter to my hand. Then, set the Satellite Shining Blue Jet Spirit and Live Gemini, Kiss Kill Frost Essence on the field as Link 2 connection marks. The Silver Star system then took down the 2 cards on the field. Link Summon. Link 2. Ancient Relic, Father God Rod. Ancient Relic Father God Rod. Angel/Connection. Attack, 1500 Link 2. Yajojude raised his eyebrows and drew another card. The 10th card. Then, activate the Quick Play spell card from your hand, Satellite Sparkling Activator. At this moment, the effect of Ancient Relic, Father God Rod is chained, and can only be activated when the effects of cards on the field other than this card are activated. Select an Ancient Relic monster from your hand or deck, use it as a magic card, and place it in your magic and trap area. Silver Star system selected an Ancient Relic, Death Scythe from the deck and placed it in the magic and trap area, and then continued. Then there is the effect of Satellite Flash Starter. Special summon Satellite Shining Red Elf from your deck. Subtract the life points of that monster by its original attack power. Satellite Shining Red Elf. Attack power, 1200, Defense power, 1800. Silver Star system, LP 8000 6800. Yajojude draws another card. The 11th hand card. After that, I set the Satellite Shining Jet Spirit and Ancient Relic, Father God Rod on the field as the connection mark of Link 2 again. Connect Summon. Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. As the Silver Star system finished speaking, a red jet spirit wearing a white coat and covered with dense artillery appeared in the additional monster area. Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. ThunderClan/Connect. Attack, 1400 Link 2. The 12th card. Yajojude silently draws another card. My goodness, this hand is almost too much. During both players' main phases, Naughty Elf special summon a level 2 monster in your graveyard. Live Twins Kiss Killer. The twin axis has finally begun to unfold. Seeing Kiss Killer return to the field, Yajojude reluctantly draws another card. The 13th card in his hand. By setting Live Twins, Kiss Killer and Giant Jet, Satellite Shining on the field as the connection mark of Link 2. Link Summon. Evil Twins, Kiss Killer. Evil Twins Kiss Killer. Demon/Connection. Attack, 1100 Link 2. The 14th card. Looking at the red-haired girl summoned by the Silver Star system, Yajojude draws another card. At the same time, if there is no Lila monster on the field, both teams will select a Lila from the graveyard for special summon during the main phase. The 15th hand card. Seeing Lila appear, Yajojude felt like he had already been drawn. Set Lila and Kiss Killer as Link 2 again, accept the call. Evil Twins, Lila. And according to the effect of Lila, special summon Evil Twins, Kiss Killer from the graveyard. According to the effect of Kiss Kill, this card is special summoned, and when Lila is on the field, draw a card from the deck. Then I'll draw 2. Glancing at Lila and Kiss Kill on the Silver Star system field, Yajojude rubbed his brows and drew 2 more cards from the deck. This is already the 17th card in my hand. If you don't unfold it, my deck will be almost empty. Finally, Connect Lila and Kiss Killer again. From the extra deck, summon Link 2's Evil Twins, Kiss Killer. The 18th hand card. Manyo Zhao, cover a card, that's it, end of turn. After streamlining his own field once again, the Silver Star system finally ended its turn. Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. Satellite Shining Red Elf. Evil Twins, Kiss Killer and a cover card in the backfield, A Ancient Relic, Death Scythe. This is the final result of the Silver Star system after being streamlined. Yuki Jide. Although I realized that it might take a long time to unfold, I never thought that I could unfold it to 18 cards with only 4 cards in my hand. You are such a storyteller. You are even more disgusting than me. Come on. Yajo Jide. Ancient Relic, Death Scythe. If it is placed in the magic or trap zone and is destroyed and sent to the graveyard during the opponent's turn, it can be special summoned directly. Also, if this card is successfully special summoned during your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from their extra deck during this turn. Moreover, once per turn, the red Pokémon can negate that effect by liberating a 2-star, 2-level, 2-link monster on its field other than the red Pokémon. How about it? Do you know how powerful I am? The Silver Star system shouted loudly. Yuchen Jide did not respond. My turn, draw a card. Entering his own turn, Yujo looked at his full hand of cards and fell into deep thought. Indeed, blocking the extra deck would be a devastating blow to almost all decks. But activate field magic card True Emperor Domain. As a True Emperor Domain appeared, the whole place fell silent. Chapter 115. The Satellite Shining deck is composed of 2-star, 2nd level, 2 linked monsters. It is a compact and highly compatible deck. If taken alone, the strength of the Satellite Shining deck is extremely limited. But if paired with some 2-star decks, the power of the Satellite Shining is enough to show. For example, when paired with the Life Twins, the most classic is to connect and summon the Father Rod, and kill the Sickle and block the extra on the opponent's turn. Although it is relatively simple. But nowadays, almost all decks are quite dependent on the extra environment. This blockade basically locks the opponent's lifeline. It's just. The Emperor deck does not need an additional deck. Yujo Jide's words instantly killed the duel. As an old deck, the Emperor deck does not have so many fancy things. The main feature is a simple and unpretentious upper summon and stickers. Of course, although it is simple and crude, the effect is powerful. However, the Emperor deck has not been active in the environment because of its own card problem and its reliance on stickers. But, looking at his full hand of 18 cards, Yujo Jide raised his lips. Stop kidding, can you get stuck with 18 cards? If you get stuck with 18 cards, I will eat this dual disc on the spot. Boom. The activation of the True Emperor Domain instantly dimmed the surrounding lightning. A dark giant shadow appeared behind Yujo Jide, opened his arms, and the surrounding area fell into a dark barrier. When there are no cards in your extra deck and only your super summoned monster is on the field, the opponent cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck. Yuki Jide opened the extra deck on his waist, and it was empty, without a single card. It's different from duels in modern society. In the duel world, hiding the number of cards in your extra deck is also a tactic. The temperature of the Silver Star system looked even redder. I was busy developing it for a long time, and now this is what he did to me? This guy is too despicable. Then, I will activate these 2 cards. Yuchen Jide showed the 2 cards in his hand. Continuous Magic Card Attack of the Emperor. And Continuous Magic Card Emperor's Rock Opening. Swish. 2 more cards were placed on the field. Then, activate the magic card, Pantheistic Emperor. Send a Emperor spell card or trap card from your hand to the graveyard, and you can draw 2 cards from your deck. I will send the Emperor of the True Source in my hand to the graveyard, and draw 2 cards from the deck. Yuchen Jide sent a card from his hand to the graveyard, and then quickly drew 2 cards. Then, activate the effect of Emperor of the True Source in the graveyard. If this card is in the graveyard, banish this card and 1 Emperor spell or trap card in your graveyard. This card becomes a level 5, light normal monster and special summon it. The Emperor of True Origin. Star rating, 5. Angels. Attack power, 1000, defense power, 2400. According to the effect of Live Twin Trouble saying on my field, as long as evil twins are on my field, every time the opponent summons or special summons a monster, I will restore 200 health points and deal 200 damage to the opponent. Silver Star System said. Yuchen 10th Generation, LP80007800. Silver Star System, LP68007000. Yuchen 10th Representative is calm. In the current situation, health points are no longer of any meaning. Then, activate the effect of Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Luobu in your hand. Target a face-up monster on your opponent's field, special summon this card, and change the target monster to face-down hand position. Yajojude points to Satellite Shining, Red Spirit. What, are you trying to activate the effect of the Red Spirit to invalidate the effect of my card? Yuchen Jude raised his eyebrows and smiled at the Silver Star System. The Silver Star System thought for a long time, and finally decided to let Yuki Jude play. As the red Pokémon on the field turned into the inside defense position, the Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Luobu immediately appeared on the field in defense mode. The Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Luobu. Star Rating, 4. Rock Tribe. Attack Power, 800, Defense Power, 1000. Then, I summoned Emperor's Servant, Edia. Emperor of Heaven's Rider Edia. Star Rating, 1. Warrior. Attack, 800, Defense, 1000. Yajojude said, Sibda, Emperor's Servant, Edia, if summoned or special summoned successfully, from your deck, special summon one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense other than this card, in defense position. Special summon, Eidos the Dark Lord's Servant. The Dark Lord's Rider, Eidos. Star Rating, 1. Magician. Attack Power, 800, Defense Power, 1000. If the Dark Emperor is successfully summoned by a servant or special summoned, you can perform a higher summon in addition to a normal summon this turn. Yajojude said, removing the 2 cards on the field. Then, I will Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Luobu Emperor's Servant, Edia Liberation. Superior Summons. Emperor of Heaven, Ether. Buzz. 2 dazzling beams of light suddenly rose from the 2 monsters on the field. As the beams of light dissipated, a female emperor wearing white sacred armor and holding a golden staff emerged from the beams of light. Ether, Emperor of Heaven. Star Rating, 8. Angels. Attack Power, 2800, Defense Power, 1000. At this moment, the effects of True Emperor's Domain, Emperor's Rock Breaking, and Attack of the Emperor are applicable. The opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. Similarly, your own higher level monsters will not become the target of the effect and will not be destroyed by the effect. End. Emperor's Rock activates its effect. When you successfully perform a face-up advanced summon, select a monster from your deck with a different name than that monster, a monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, or a monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense, and add it to your hand. After adding a card from the deck to your hand, Jude continued. Next is the effect of the released Emperor's Servant, Edia. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target one of your excluded Emperor spell or trap cards. Add that card to your hand. Yajo Tende will remove the Pantheist Emperor from the exclusion zone. Next is the effect of Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Luobu. When this card is advanced summoned, target a monster with 800 ATK and 1000 def in the graveyard, other than Earth Emperor's Retainer, Lan Rob, and add that monster to your hand. Yajojude added Earth Emperor's Servant, Edia from the graveyard to his hand. Finally, there is the effect of Emperor of Heaven, Ether. If this card is successfully advanced summoned, send 2 types of Emperor spell and trap cards from your hand and deck to the graveyard, and special summon a monster with 2400 or more ATK and 1000 def from your deck. I sent the Emperor of Origin and Emperor of Pantheism in my hand to the graveyard. Special summon from the deck. Light Emperor, Chrysler. He raised the card in his hand, and a brilliant golden light flashed. The Emperor of Light, wearing golden armor, emerged from the brilliant light. Emperor Cress. Stars, 6. Warrior. Attack Power, 2400, Defense Power, 1000. Light Emperor, Chrysler. When a summon or special summon is successful, activate this effect targeting up to 2 cards on the field, and destroy those cards. The controller of the destroyed card can draw the same number of destroyed cards from the deck. Yajojude pointed directly at the cover cards on the Silver Star System field, as well as Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. The Silver Star system immediately launched a counterattack. Don't even think about it. Activate the effect of Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. During both main phases, target a level 2 monster in your graveyard and special summon that monster. If there is a monster on the opponent's field, you can also choose a level 2 or link 2 monster as a substitute. I choose to special summon Evil Twins, Lila. The Silver Star system immediately analyzed and came up with the best solution. The Naughty Elf could no longer be saved. In this case, he could only use the effect of the Naughty Elf to pull Lila out of the graveyard. Then he could activate Lila's effect and blow up a sticker on the opponent's field. Although he couldn't stop the decline, at least he could struggle. Sorry, I won't let you have your wish. Activate the Quick Attack magic card. Emperor's Booming. Release a face-up monster on your field that is normally summoned at level 5 or higher, and activate it by targeting a face-up card on the field. The effect of that card is invalid until the end of the turn. After that, draw a card from your deck. Yajojade pointed directly at Satellite Shining Naughty Elf. I release the Emperor of Heaven, Ether on the field. Invalidate the activation of the effect of the Naughty Elf. As soon as the voice fell, the body of the Emperor of Heaven instantly turned into light and disappeared on the field. And then, a ray of lightning, from the scattered light, instantly struck, and hit the Naughty Elf heavily. Amid the exclamations of the crowd, the effect of the Naughty Elf was instantly interrupted. At the same time, the attack of the Emperor of Light also came in response. 2 beams of light instantly pierced the body of the Naughty Elf and the cover card in the backcourt of the Silver Star system. Bang! Bang! With 2 explosions, the only one left on the field of the Silver Star system was Evil Twins, Kiss Killer, a covered Satellite Shining, Red Elf, and Ancient Relic, Death Scythe in the backcourt. After 5 consecutive summons, according to the effect of Live Twin Trouble saying, the health of Yuchen Jade and the Silver Star system also increased and decreased respectively. Yuchen 10th Generation, LP78006800. Silver Star System, LP70008000. The health values of both sides, as the 2 sides started fighting, miraculously reversed. Off the field, the crowd watching the offensive and defensive battle between the 2 sides could not help but wipe their sweat nervously when they saw the scene in front of them. Although the health value has reversed, the current situation is firmly under Shade's control. Look at Shade's hand. Until now, Shade still has 13 cards in his hand. And the Silver Star system has almost no cards on the field. As everyone saw. Even after such a fierce and long-lasting resource exchange offensive and defensive battle, Yuchen Shade still firmly grasped the 3-hand card resources. And the field of the Silver Star system has been almost solved at this moment. In addition, the Emperor's sticker hell has been formed. Even in the next round, the Silver Star system can only passively wait for death. This is the consequence of Top G. Now let's see if you dare to use the Top G expansion in the future. Everyone couldn't help shaking their heads. The reason why the Silver Star system fell into this decline was entirely due to the Top G expansion. Honestly, the Emperor deck had no way to kill the opponent in one round. Now it's good. The Emperor's sticker hell, you can slowly taste it. However, the high-level monsters on your field have almost been used up, you don't have the chance to summon monsters this round, right? Obviously, the Silver Star system is still trying to make a desperate struggle. Is that so? A sinister smile appeared on Yajochade's face. The above are just appetizers. The real hell has just begun. Under the desperate eyes of the Silver Star system, Yuchen Jade slowly showed the card in his hand. Activate the magic card in your hand, the effect of magic card Soul Cross. Perform a super summon of a monster. At that time, it can replace the monster on your field and release the monster on the opponent's field. Release the monster on the opponent's field. The pupils of the Silver Star system shrank slightly. Looking at the Evil Twins, Kiss Killer on its field and the Satellite Shining, Red Elf on the inside, it was instantly shrouded in a beam of light. As an artificial intelligence, it felt shocked for the first time. What? Do you want to activate the effect of Kiss Killer at this time? Yuchen Jade smiled as he looked at the frozen Silver Star system, and slowly showed a card in his hand. I'm kindly telling you, it doesn't matter whether you activate that effect or not. I still have a quick attack magic card in my hand, Forbidden Holy Grail. Hey? The Silver Star system crashed on the spot. The system's crazy calculations could not calculate the current way to break the deadlock. Swish! At the moment when the Silver Star system crashed, the evil twins and the red elf on the field had become sacrifices and disappeared from the field in an instant. As the two monsters were released on the field of Yuki-Jide, a dark figure slowly emerged from the deep darkness. Erebus. Star rating, 8. Undead. Attack power, 2800, defense power, 1000. The strongest emperor. Chapter 116. The Dark Emperor sat on the deep and profound throne. With a pair of blood-red eyes, he stared at the figures of the ants in front of him. Erebus. A monster summoned by the magic card Soul Cross cannot be released as a sacrifice during the turn it was summoned. However, when Soul Cross is activated when it is sent from the field to the graveyard, the opponent can also summon a higher level monster and release the monster on my field. Yuki-Jide smiled and looked at the Silver Star system. The monsters on my field that can be used as sacrifices are Light Emperor, Clues, Underworld Emperor, Eidos, and Emperor of the True Source. Do you want to choose to perform a superior summon? Hearing what Yuki-Jide said, the Silver Star system became even more chaotic. Superior summon? What a joke, how can there be a card in your own deck that can be superior summoned? This is basically the exclusive card of your own deck, right? By releasing the opponent's monsters and performing advanced summons, the purpose of clearing the field can be achieved. Yuki-Jide, I thought he was just a duelist who relied on tricks to duel. Unexpectedly, the true strength is far beyond our imagination. Looking at Yuki-Jide at this moment, Xianyu and Shizi couldn't help but admire him. This guy, whether in strength or duel, is too strong. It seems that you don't choose to perform the higher level summoning. Seeing that the Silver Star system did not respond, Yuki-Jide said lightly, in that case, let me use these three monsters. Activate magic card, double summon. This turn, in addition to the normal summon, I can also perform a normal summon. Yuki-Jide showed the cards in his hand and said, I will release the Emperor of the True Source and Emperor of the Underworld, Eidos on the field. Superior summoning. Thunder Emperor, Zabalg. Boom. Thunder roared. In the lightning, Thunder Emperor Zabalg, with dense electric current flashing all over his body, slowly descended from the sky. Thunder Emperor Zaborg. Star rating, 8. Thunder Clan. Attack power, 2800, defense power, 1000. When this card is successfully advanced summoned, target a monster on the field and destroy that monster. Destroy a monster? Silver Star system looked at its own field in confusion. There are no monsters on its own field, right? What I destroyed was my own Light Emperor, Clays. Yuki-Jide waved his arm, thunder roared, and instantly swallowed up Cress's body. A monster that destroyed itself. Is this true? No, Jide has a reason for doing this. Akrisha suddenly thought of something and said, Light Emperor, Chloe's cannot attack during the turn it is summoned or special summoned, so even if it stays on the field, it will return to the hand at the end of the turn due to the effect of Celestial Emperor, Ether. It would be better to become the target of the Thunder Emperor's effect. Before she could finish her words, the Light Emperor on the field had already turned into dust in the thunder and disappeared without a trace. At the same time, the truly terrifying side of the Thunder Emperor was finally exposed. When the monster destroyed by Thunder Emperor is a light monster, both players select cards from their extra deck that match the monster's original level or the number of its tiers, and send them to the graveyard. Also, when this card successfully releases a light attribute monster and advanced summoned, the opponent's card sent to the graveyard will be selected by me. Yuki-Jide showed the Emperor of the True Source in his hand. The King of True Origin, when being a normal monster, happens to be of the light attribute. Light Emperor Cress is a 6-star monster. So, I will pick 6 cards from your extra deck and send them to the graveyard. Pick 6 directly. You know, the extra deck has a maximum of 15 cards. Picking 6 cards and throwing them to the graveyard is basically a complete failure. At this time, the extra deck of the Silver Star system also appeared in front of Yuki-Jide. Yuki-Jide waved his hand and sent all the cards such as Satellite Shining Naughty Elf, Giant Jet Satellite Shining, Evil Twins, and IP Masquerade Lena to the graveyard. In addition to the extra cards used by the Silver Star system before. Now, the extra deck of the Silver Star system only has 4 thin cards left. This is over. I was thinking about blocking other people's extra decks, but now the Emperor has thrown away all the extra decks. Water Fairy couldn't help but sigh. Now she felt that the Silver Star system was a bit pitiful. The extra deck was blocked, destroyed, and strongly suppressed by the Emperor's deck. What's the point of playing this card? Just win quickly, okay? Let's fight. Seeing that everything was ready, Yajojude entered the battle. First, the Thunder Emperor attacked. The Thunder Emperor condensed a ball of strong lightning and instantly hit the Silver Star system. Zilla-lala! Accompanied by strong electric current flashes. The Silver Star system immediately billowed with thick smoke. Silver Star system, LP80005200. It's not over yet. Next is the attack of the Hades. The dark energy condensed by the Hades also attacked. After taking this attack, the current in the Silver Star system leaked even more violently. Silver Star system, LP52002400. Goo, system error, system error. Retest the optimal solution for the duel. The current duel winning rate is detected to be 0, retest the optimal solution for the duel. System error, system error. The entire Silver Star system was in a state of collapse. It was obvious that even the Silver Star system could no longer handle the current situation. 2 cards are hidden, and the turn ends. After hiding the 2 cards in his hand, Yajojude smiled and ended the turn. The extra cards in your hand will be sent to the graveyard at the end of the round. What a pity, so many cards, and they haven't been used up yet. He put the extra cards in his hand into the cemetery one by one. Yajo sighed and shook his head. Detect that the opponent's turn has ended. My turn, my turn. The Silver Star system drew a card from the deck. At this moment, Yajojude also immediately opened a cover card on the field. Open the continuous trap card. Emperor's Melt Strike. As long as this card is in the spell or trap zone, the effects of all face-up monsters on the field, except for superior summoned monsters, will be negated. Yajojude smiled and said, in other words, no matter what monster you summon, as long as it is not a superior summoned monster, its effect will be invalid in front of the Emperor's. Hearing Yajojude's words, the Silver Star system fell silent for a long time. The current around the Silver Star system became more unstable. With a series of crackling explosions, the Silver Star system was completely paralyzed, and its body quickly dimmed. The current optimal solution is detected. Surrender. In this duel, I choose to surrender. Silver Star system, LP24000. Yajojude, when looked at the Silver Star system falling from the sky, looking paralyzed by overthinking. The people watching the battle showed shocked expressions on their faces. Is this true? Chapter 117. Congratulations to the host for defeating the Silver Star system. Unlock Satellite Shining Deck, Ancient Relic Deck, Live Twins Deck. The card set has been sent to the host's collection card book. Because the host has collected the Satellite Shining Deck, Beast Belt Fighting God Deck, and Treasure Guardian Cannon Monster Deck at the same time. The special card, Giant Jet Champion Osiris, has been sent to the host's collection card set. The special card, Satellite Shining, Swift Dragon Cannon, has been issued to the host's collection card group. The voices that rang in his ears made Yajojude fall into silence. With the acquisition of the Satellite Shining card group, now, almost all the card groups in the Abyss Dimension have been obtained by Yajojude. Branded Deck Abyss Beast Satellite Shining Beast Belt Fighting God Treasure Guard Cannon Monster Sword Ice Water. Now, only Iron Beast Front Fierce Guide and the Last Death Prison are left. As an ally of the Iron Beast Front, their 103 power can be obtained by Kit at any time. As for the Fierce Guide and the Death Prison, Yajojude clenched his fists, clearly determined to take the remaining evil guides and the Death Prison village. As the Silver Star system was defeated, the lightning and thunder around it gradually dissipated. The large blue ball of light was now lying on the ground, seemingly having lost its ability to move. Oh, this is the power that can fight against the Death Prison. I will take it back to the Explorer for research later. Jite couldn't wait to run to the field, picked up the Silver Star system on the ground, and put it into the energy storage device that had been prepared. Xianyuan 14 watched silently from the side. Although it also wanted to stop GTE, as the loser, it could only accept defeat and watch GTE pack up and take away the entire Silver Star system. Hey, do you want us to go deal with those bastards in the Death Prison Township together? Wei Suwa walked to Xianyuan 14 and patted Xianyuan 14's shoulder with a smile. Although they had known each other for a short time, Wei Suwa was very compatible with Xianyuan 14 and felt that the two of them were quite compatible. Forget it, although the Silver Star system no longer exists, we will still protect this spaceship. Xuanyuan 14 looked a little arrogant. Having just been defeated by these people, the always arrogant Xuanyuan 14 didn't want to pay attention to them. Well, forget it, we can learn from each other when we have time later. Wei Zhiwu patted his iron chest and said, we don't need to duel, let's learn from each other in the most primitive way. Humph, let's talk about it next time. Xuanyuan 14 glanced at Wei Zhiwu. Then he jumped up and disappeared into the spaceship with the other beast belt fighting gods. Phew, it's finally over. It all depends on Jade. Holding the storage device that holds the energy of the Silver Star system, Kit is so happy now. She ran to Jade and immediately complimented the hero of this battle. Do you have a plan to deal with the Death Prison Village? Jade was not interested in flattery. Instead, he was eager to have the final battle with Albert and his team. Complete all the plots of the Abyss Dimension and unlock all the decks. Well, this one, Kit smiled mysteriously, I plan to use the Silver Star system to make a weapon that can instantly defeat the Death Prison Township. Swift Dragon Cannon, Jade blurted out subconsciously. Hey? You, how did you know? I just thought of a name for this weapon. Kit looked at Jade in surprise. She really wanted to use this power to make a powerful weapon, and the weapon was tentatively named the Swift Dragon Cannon. But she had never told anyone about this, so how did Jade know? I'm just guessing. Jade shrugged and made up an excuse to fool around. By the way, have you thought of a specific plan? Well, I plan to make it into a large weapon, but large weapons are not very convenient to carry. Kit touched her chin with a troubled expression. What if it is a battle suit that can be equipped on the body? Jade raised his eyelids. For example, the power of the Silver Star system is stored in an energy storage tank, and the energy in the storage tank is absorbed through small weapons. Jade almost showed the entire card of Satellite Flash Swift Dragon Cannon to Kit. Genius! Jade snapped her fingers, and the look in her eyes when she looked at Jade also changed a little. I originally thought you were a fool who only knew how to duel and fight, but now it seems that you are quite smart. What do you mean by seem? A drop of sweat dripped from Jade's forehead. If it wasn't for the purpose of letting GTE make the demon-sending dragon robe earlier, he wouldn't have tried so hard to hint to her. I feel like I have an idea in my head. I'm going to start designing now. Kit held the storage device and trotted all the way to the explorer at the foot of the mountain. Jade breathed a sigh of relief and turned around to see Ecclesia and the water fairy looking at him with unhappy expressions. Tisk, what? When did you become so close to Kit? That's right, thanks to all of us who were so worried in the audience. When Jade-sama came down, he went straight to talk to Kit. Looking at the two of them pouting, with an expression that showed that they were jealous. Jade was silent for a moment, decided to ignore them, and turned to walk down the mountain. Too cold. 10 generations. That's right. Master Jade is too fickle. Ecclesia and the water fairy hurriedly chased after him, and left with Jade in a noisy manner. Only the treasure-guarding artillery monsters were left standing there in silence watching everyone leave. I think Jade-san is also having a hard time. Yes. So, if you mess with a woman, it will become very troublesome. Yeah. But aren't we robots? Why should we be afraid of women? Torpedo, if you can't speak, then don't speak. With Jade's vague reminders. GTE quickly used the power of the Silver Star system to successfully research the satellite Shining Swift Dragon Cannon. Although the appearance looks like a black jacket, the two energy storage tanks behind him, one blue and one red, contain a terrifyingly powerful force. Hey! You bastards, what on earth have you transformed me into? The artificial intelligence Silver Star system seemed to have woken up from its dead state. Seeing that it had been transformed into equipment, the entire Silver Star system was in trouble. Oh, you're awake, the operation was successful. Kit grabbed her sleeve and put on the 2.9. Damn it! You despicable orc! You turned me into this! How can you be mean? You lost. Losers should accept the punishment honestly. After connecting the energy storage tank to the blue bear claw on her left arm and the swift dragon cannon on her right arm, Kit immediately activated the flight device. The power of the Silver Star system immediately circulated rapidly in the equipment on her body. Success! Success! Holding the blue bear's claw tightly in her hand, Kit's face showed a happy expression. Next, it's the decisive battle with the Death Prison Township. In the bloody prison town, on the throne with the eye of brand carved on it. Aleb held up his face, looking at the blood-red brand of he in his hand, the corner of his mouth raised in an arc. Is it finally starting? Chapter 118. Abyss Dimension. The great sand sea covered by the mark of he appeared in a strange bloody color. The noisy explorer was sailing on the sand stained red by the mark. The reflection of the mark of he was reflected in the sky, and the scarlet lightning flashed continuously in the marked drama city suspended in the sky. And in the thunder. The wild laughter echoed at the top of the marked drama city, as if welcoming the arrival of the Jade group. So, what is that? Looking at the branded drama city, despair prison floating in the sky, Kit stuck her head out of the window and looked at the scene in front of her in surprise. Can feel the breath of the corrupted mark. Ecclesia lay in front of the window, looking at the death prison village shrouded by lightning. She gently stroked the stigma on her forehead, and could vaguely feel the brand in the stigma, as if it was being gradually guided out. Yuki Jade also looked out at the death prison village from the window. At the top of the branded theater city, the red-haired boy wearing a golden mask had already stood there, waiting for the show to begin. And in the branded theater city, countless actors in the death prison village with distorted and fallen faces were like zombies, wailing in pain and shrillness, or laughing sharply and creepily. The entire branded theater city was like a fallen purgatory on earth, making people feel their hair stand on end. At this time, Yuki Jade suddenly felt that there seemed to be some movement in his deck. Albus, who had been sleeping in the deck, seemed to have also felt the strong brand aura, and slowly woke up from his coma. Under the surprised eyes of everyone, a white light suddenly flashed in Yuki Jade's deck. As the white light named Albus's fallen flashed, the young man with white hair and red eyes appeared beside Yuki Jade, looking at the death prison village in the distance with him. Where are you? Albus suddenly appeared beside Jade and startled everyone. Kit came up to him curiously, stroking her chin and looking around at the expressionless boy. Albus didn't move. He stared at the death prison in the distance. No, it would be better to say that he was staring at Albert, who was standing on the top of the stigmata and laughing crazily. Although Albus' mind was blank and he didn't even know his own name, he could feel that the red-haired boy who was laughing crazily had almost the same power as him. Is this child the dragon that we met before in Longi country? Ecclesia obviously still remembered Albus. On that day, he transformed into Luyan dragon and came to Longi country. It was Jade who defeated him from his rampage and turned him into a card. Albus clenched his fists and still did not respond. He stared at Albert's figure, his expression gradually becoming solemn. Do you feel it? The power of the same origin. Yuki Jade glanced at Albus and spoke slowly. Albus nodded. Although he did not respond to others' words, he could still respond to Jade to some extent. That power, very familiar. He spoke slowly, his voice low and slightly hoarse. She can actually talk. I thought she was dumb. Jade whispered to the water fairy. I can feel. As long as I defeat him, the answer I want to find, you can find. Albus murmured in a low voice. He clenched his fists, and a hint of fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. Then just rush in. Jade waved her little fist and looked at the branded drama city with a smile. Explorer, rush in directly, destroy all those messy things and the guy who keeps laughing. After saying that, Kit immediately pushed the control lever. The noisy explorer immediately opened up full speed and rushed towards the branded drama city at a terrifying speed. It seemed that it detected something rushing towards here. At the top of the branded drama city, the purple two-headed dragon entrenched there slowly woke up, twisted its slender body, and sprayed purple dragon flames towards the noisy explorer. Oh, oh, oh! Weijia hurriedly maneuvered the explorer to avoid the sand sea. The sprayed dragon flames hit the sand, and immediately raised sand waves into the sky. Hey! What is that? I thought it was just a decoration. Holding on to the wall beside her, Kit looked at the heads of the two purple dragons awakened on the top of the branded theater city with a surprised look on her face. That is. Ecclesia seemed to recognize what it was. It's the Holy Sea's Shenlong 4 teaching statue. Has the statue been affected by the brand and corrupted into the branded dragon? Jade also understood. If so, then we have to activate the big guy. Treasure Guardians, show these bastards how powerful we are. Kit pressed the button on the control panel. At this moment, the giant rocket on the noisy explorer slowly raised its head and aimed at the two branded dragons on top of the branded theater city. Fire! A group of treasure-guarding artillery monsters also completed the input at their respective operating positions. With the last launch button pressed, the noisy explorer immediately fired a giant rocket at the branded theater city. However, Audiobook, who had been standing on the top of the branded theater city, suddenly took action at this moment. He leaped up, and his body quickly turned into a dragon under a twisting force. A blood-red dragon spread its wings and flew into the sky. With a deafening dragon roar, a blood-red branded protective shield instantly appeared outside the Death Prison Township. The moment the rocket touched the protective shield, it turned into a ball of fire. The strong impact rolled up a huge cloud of dust, and even the sky rose up with a wave of air because of the explosion of the rocket. What? That guy turned into a dragon. Kit rubbed her eyes hurriedly, looking at the roaring dragon in the sky. Divine Flame Dragon, Hija Dragon. Looking at the giant dragon soaring in the sky, Albus' body also began to react. He gritted his teeth and stared at Overlord, who had transformed into a dragon in the sky. The power of the white mark in his body also surged wildly at this moment. Go, Albus! Seeing this, Uajojade no longer stopped Albus from transforming into a dragon. He hurriedly asked Kit to open the cabin. Then, he unfolded the dual disc and attached a brand fusion to the dual disc. Fusion of Albus power with Xiangjian and ice water. Uajojade took out cards from the deck one after another. Unleash the power of dragonhood, Albus! Roar! At this moment, Albus' body quickly transformed into a dragon under the influence of brand fusion. White ice crystals poured out of Albus' body. Albus' hair also began to grow long rapidly, and his face and body also quickly transformed into the appearance of a giant dragon. Ice Sword Dragon, Phantom Ice Dragon. At this moment, Albus could no longer suppress his inner urge to defeat Alub. He leaped out of the hatch, spread his wings and flew straight to Alub, who had transformed into the Divine Flame Dragon, Hija Dragon in the sky. Hey, 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 that guy suddenly turned into a dragon and flew away. This is too weird. Jite pointed at the two giant dragons colliding in the sky and looked at everyone in confusion. The attacks of the Phantom Ice Dragon and the Hija Dragon caused countless sonic booms in the sky. The air seemed to explode because of the battle between the two. The two branded dragons fought frantically, and even caused the abyss cracks in the sky to open one after another, revealing an abyss as deep as an eye. At the moment of the battle between the two, Jade and his group had already driven the noisy explorer through the gate of the branded theater city and headed straight for the interior of the Death Prison Township. Everyone jumped off the explorer. At this moment, in the square inside the Death Prison Township, people who were corrupted by the brand gathered here with their twisted bodies. Hearing the sound behind them, they all turned their eyes to the group of uninvited guests. And where the statue of the god used to be placed, the twisted brand was hanging a white-haired woman in the air. The woman lowered her head, and the bloody brand was blooming behind the woman like a red spider lily. Seeing this scene, Ecclesia's expression collapsed immediately. Sister Flordelis. The woman who was bound in mid-air, being entrenched in the branded theater city, the terrifying unknown thing, absorbing the soul. It was the 664th saint with a pure and desperate soul. Chapter 119. Sister Flordelis. The moment she saw Flordelis, Ecclesia's heart collapsed. Flordelis seemed to have lost consciousness. The enchanting red spider lily-like pattern on her back was like a wisp of smoke, being sucked into the huge container in the sky. That is Holy Annunciation. This is something the church has been secretly researching since a long time ago. Jet frowned and stared at the container that absorbed Flordelis' soul. She heard about this from her sister Feliget. The Archbishop has always wanted to gain power beyond the gods. The container that holds the souls of 664 saints is the altar that the Archbishop uses to awaken the power beyond the gods. And Flordelis is obviously the 664th one. And the next one. Hehe, welcome back, Saint, Ecclesia. Just then, a loud voice sounded from the top of the drama city. Everyone looked up. They saw a man holding a blood-red staff and wearing a red and white bishop's robe, laughing wildly in the blood-red wind under the high pillar at the top of the drama city leading to the unknown abyss crack. He was the Archbishop who chose to fall into the mark. Now, he has completely fallen because of the mark and become the master of the death prison. The great director of the death prison. Damn it, you, the culprit, finally showed up. Jite immediately raised the swift dragon cannon on her arm. However, before she could fire, a soldier reached out to stop her. Fleur-de-Lis and the souls of the 663 saints were still in the container under the Great Director God. If the swift dragon cannon was fired, the powerful force would destroy all these souls in an instant. He, the culprit. No. Let this fallen world witness the coming of the true God. This is the oracle I have followed from the beginning. The Great Director God raised his arms high. The halo behind him, like the sun, flickered with a faint light. Oracle, Ecclesia. Stared blankly. She had never expected that the oracle she had been exposed to since she was a child would be the culprit for all this. Is he really the culprit that destroyed everything? Yes, it is the oracle. To make the gods come is the destiny of Long Yuguo. The great drama god laughed loudly, and the souls of the 664 saints in the container also made desperate and sad sounds at the same time. Sister Fleur-de-Lis. Seeing the countless soul imprints rising like red spider lilies in the transparent glass cover, Ecclesia's pupils shrank and she hurried forward. Come on, Ecclesia. Dedicate your soul to the coming of God. The Great Director God shouted loudly. As the last bit of Fleur-de-Lis' soul was drained, her body also completely lost the sign of life. The mark that bound her gradually dissipated at this moment, and Fleur-de-Lis fell from a high altitude and fell heavily to the ground. No. Seeing her only relative fall, Ecclesia could no longer hold back her inner impulse. She broke free from Kit and the water nymph, rushed past the frantic death prison actors, and rushed to Fleur-de-Lis. Jade and the others wanted to act. However, the group of death prison actors seemed to deliberately stop Jade and the others, and instantly surrounded them, blocking their way forward. Looking at Fleur-de-Lis, who had already lost her life signs, Ecclesia collapsed to the ground, hugging her only relative, her most important sister, and cried bitterly. The breath of despair caused the holy mark on Ecclesia's forehead to begin to change dramatically. In the girl's painful tears, the holy mark began to gradually degenerate, and the breath of the brand began to quickly crawl over Ecclesia's body. At this moment, the Great Director God smiled even more excitedly. He could feel it. The soul of the 665th desperate saint has appeared. The last step to summon the gods is just around the corner. What should I do? Jade. The water nymphs beside were all shocked. Ecclesia was rapidly degenerating. If she continued like this. Yubel. Yachin. Jade waved his hand, and the dual disc on his arm immediately unfolded. Humph, I'm not here to help that woman, I'm just here to help you, Jade. Yubel's figure suddenly appeared behind Jade. She slowly raised her eyelids, and a sneer appeared at the corner of her mouth. Stop talking nonsense like that. Jade leaped towards Ecclesia. Stop him. The Great Director would never let Jade rush over. He waved his hand, and the corrupted actors of the death prison village immediately rushed towards Jade and his group. Monsters rushed towards them like a tide, one after another. Be careful. These guys are innocent civilians controlled by the brand. Don't hurt them. Wei Suo punched one away and shouted to the treasure-guarding cannon monsters behind him. No. There are too many. All the residents of Longji country have turned into monsters, there are at least millions of them. There are only a few of us, and we can't stop them at all. The treasure-guarding artillery monsters could only release non-lethal rockets to block the attacks of the actors of the prison of death. But this kind of restrained fighting method could not cause any substantial damage to these actors of the prison of death. Jade quickly dodged the attacks of the actors of the prison of death. He jumped up, used the wall to make a return jump to the roof, and shook off a large group of crazy actors of the prison of death. Then, Yubel behind him waved his arms, and a large number of the actors of the prison of death were blown away. But there were still many actors of the prison of death who climbed onto the roof and launched suicide attacks on Jade Yuki. He. Just as Jade had just knocked the person who rushed over away, a monster with a twisted body and a corrupted holy sword in hand jumped out from the group of actors in the death prison village. It laughed strangely, and its twisted claws, which were full of weirdness and made people lose their minds, stretched out from behind and attacked Jade. Kiritas. According to rumors, the Holy Sword, Holy Shield and Holy Kai, once used by Fleur-de-Lis, became monsters after receiving the mark of He and falling. In this case, this lifeless guy can be killed at will. Yuchen Jade's eyes were stern. The explosive wind bomb condensed in his hand instantly smashed Quirites' chest. With a strange cry, Quirites instantly shattered and crashed into the actors of the death prison village. And Jade also used the powerful thrust generated by the explosive wind bomb to turn from the air and landed in front of the great director god. Seeing Jade already in front of him, the great drama god was startled and subconsciously took a step back. Behind him, 2 followers of the gods who were corrupted by the brand rushed straight towards Jade. However, Yubel behind Jade slammed them to the ground with one hand each, and they became motionless. We finally meet, Archbishop, no, the great director god. Jade raised his lips slightly and stared at the great director god in front of him. Lila Hao, Tisk, you heretic, the great drama god was obviously a little afraid of Jade's power. The aura of the Overlord had the ability to suppress any card spirits beyond their levels. The great drama god was naturally the same. However, the great drama god threw his robes. On his arm, which was twisted by the power of the brand of he wrapped around like a vine, condensing into the shape of a dual disc. Under the mask of the great drama god, a sneer rose at the corner of his mouth. It seems that I need to rely on this little magic card to defeat you, the heretic. Yet, but it is still uncertain who will defeat whom. Jade also became interested. He raised the next generation dual disc on his arm, and in his eyes, the golden light of the Overlord and the green light of Yubel formed a different color interweaving. Okay, then give it a try. Dual monsters to decide the outcome. Yuchen 10th generation, LP8000. Great Director, LP8000.